Testing the microphone. Hello. Okay, I think this is working well enough. Let's try and see if anyone can hear me. Hello, hello. Hello. Yeah. Can anyone hear me? I don't think there's. Hey! Hey, Tabby, I figured you'd be here. Thanks for showing up. This is gonna be a mess. Hey, Austri. Welcome, everyone. Don't mind the mess. You can hear me. Oh, excellent. That's very good. What am I doing here today? I haven't streamed in so long, everybody, that I don't even know what half the stuff I'm doing is. I have a folder called Tiny Me, and I think that might have been where the little me was hiding, but I don't even know how to get him out here. Let's see what this does. I'm clicking all sorts of stuff tonight. I have no idea if this is gonna work. But y'all hang around for just a little bit. I have a new video right here. And tantalize. I'm basically gonna hold it. My VTuber software. Okay. Whoa, 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 hold on. I'm not showing you that yet. I have to hold it hostage so you guys don't leave yet. I need to figure out what is even happening. I should probably post a link to this thing. What is this? What is this even? Get out of here. Oh no. That's oh, that's something. I think that's important. What okay. I have a little VTuber man. And he's shy right now. I think I broke him. Maybe I should just close it, the software. You know what? It's already progress that I managed to start this thing up and remember how to do this. I think I've held a current of 4 live streams, maybe. This is my 5th one. I'm very proud. Whoa. Okay. Excuse me. How is everyone doing tonight? I'm doing well. Very hot where I'm at currently. I'm adapting. Getting by just fine. Hope you all are doing. The epic stream indeed. Getting off to a great start. But that's okay. You gotta start somewhere. I don't even need all this fancy software here. Like Firefox. That's not necessary. I just need to talk to you all. How are you all doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. I've just been working on videos in the background this entire time, and I feel like even though this video that I've been working on for a while is one of the longest I've done in a hot minute, it still doesn't feel like enough. Like I want to spend more time talking with you all about things and communicating and getting by. And also, I just want to do more. You know, I think I've attracted a pretty interesting little group of subscribers and followers. Before I get too into this, let me go ahead and just post some links across the internet as to how to get here, because I'd like for other people to join us before I get too far into this. But y'all are real ones who are showing up and stopping by. I really appreciate it. I think that I want to start posting more content that isn't super high quality, because I've got too much to say to wait until I've managed to animate everything that I want to say. So instead, I'm just going to start streaming, I think. And not only that, I think I want to start streaming as a way of communicating with you all. Not just in terms of like keeping up on internet stuff, but I also want to keep you guys in the loop in terms of what I'm making. Maybe show you guys some behind the scenes stuff. I think I've had a kind of principle up until now of keeping the magic behind the scenes and then showing you guys only the best of the best, the cream of the crop. That is all my work. However, I think that that isn't working so hot right now because I only post something that I like, you know, at the most, like, sometimes I'll get on a little streak and I'll have, like, 4 videos in 4 weeks or something like that. That's kind of the exception to the rule. And I think I want to start streaming more often, not just to show you guys what I'm up to, but I think everyone is pretty internet savvy when they follow me, based on the Discord interactions. Everyone knows what they're talking knows what they're talking about when it comes to internet stuff. And I've actually learned a lot just from communicating with you guys on the side. But, hold on, let me post this to Twitter real quick. If we can't pull a few more folks. And also, posting this to Discord. But if y'all want to, I, in past streams, have had a problem with reading the chat too much. I will actively communicate with you via microphone. So if you guys want to say anything, I am reading this, and I will. I was looking back at some older streams, and I'm so easily derailed by any kind of conversation that's happening in chat, so I will communicate with you. I will be speaking to chat. I will stop what I'm saying in the middle of a sentence to speak to people, because I adore attention. That's the whole reason I have this YouTube channel. So feel free to ask me any kind of questions. I've got a lot of plans for tonight. How much of those plans we'll actually get through, I do not know. But I'm excited to share the future of videos with you all tonight. Let me just go ahead and post this link to my Discord, and then we can get started. By the way, I will be posting a link to the Discord if you guys haven't already joined. I know that I'm pretty cagey about posting links to the Discord. We have such a cool little group there, and it's such a nice little community that's getting built up that I don't even really need to babysit. Everyone there is pretty chill, and there's not a huge active Discord, but people like to share stuff, and I adore the fact that I can just kind of check in every couple of days and just find a bunch of links and a bunch of art, and it's just delightful. So I don't send out the Discord link all the time, everywhere, spread it everywhere, but if you would like access to that, just hold on, and I will post a link to that so that you guys can, if you're not already a member of that, you can join it. Typing is hard while talking, but I'm mastering this, and we will be there in just a moment. Everyone, we're live. Do I want to send this to everyone? I do. Everyone needs to know. Okay. Let's see the chat. How long have you been working on that last vid? I've actually been working on this current vid that I'm about to show you guys today, on and off for a couple months. It was originally inspired by kind of this hesitation I've had to really tap into clickbait, and just kind of the idea. I've actually found a decent amount of success on TikTok, and I think I've realized it's because TikTok doesn't depend on thumbnails, because I really, really don't like making thumbnails at all. It's like my least favorite thing. And but I also kind of have this, there's a, I have to show thumbnails. You have to, it's an important part of being a YouTuber. You have to get into it, and you have to really, really be okay with becoming like a car salesman, basically, and making something that people will want to click on, even if it's not entirely accurate to the video. And I hated that, and I didn't want to do it, but I knew I needed to learn how to do it. So I've just gradually, over time, been like, what would be a good compromise for this? And I think I found a solution. I asked a friend of mine to help me out. They will be co-starring with me in this video. And I haven't had a co-star in a video in quite a long time. If you've been a fan of the Discord, or if you've been a fan of the channel for a long time, you know I had a co-host in the past, a friend of mine named Mouse. He still hangs around every now and then. He's the strong, silent type, so he doesn't really say too much anymore unless provoked. You can poke him occasionally, and he'll respond. But I've been kind of doing it solo because I wanted to try and figure out what I even wanted to do with this channel. Still trying to figure out how to do that, but getting better at it. But this current video is right here. I'm going to keep pointing at it and tantalizing people, because hopefully this will keep you guys watching the stream long enough to hang around. New video. But it was about months, because I had to do this weird thing where I wrote a script. I didn't want to force this person to memorize lines, because I have enough trouble coming off as natural when I'm recording stuff. And I didn't want to just hand some lines to someone and be like, here, this is your opinion, state it for everyone. And so I wanted to give them a chance to respond naturally to some questions. So I took the time to write up basically an interview, and sat down, recorded the person with their responses, and some of their responses were so great that I decided to rewrite a script based on their answers, record myself responding to their answers to my original questions, and then edit that together to make it sound natural. Whether or not that worked, we'll find out. You guys can be the judge of that. But it was an interesting challenge, and a lot of times with these projects, when it comes to animation where you're not working based on like, you know, a minute of video, like sometimes when you're just editing video, it can be like a minute, but the whole thing of trying to, you know, if you're staring at a second for days, it can get really annoying to stare at your own work for that long. So I had to take a lot of breaks to get to the point where I wasn't hating everything I was looking at. So on and off, took a couple months to make this. Not too bad for, I think it's a, use it again. Oh, there it is. 4 minutes and 41 seconds. Not crazy long, but kind of crazy long for an animation. I mean, I've been trying to work on a style that would allow me to do stuff in a way. Oh wait, there's some people. There's more people here. Oh my goodness, I've been saved by a 404 live stream. Hello, Yeetus. Hello, Chuchello. Hello, El Salta Cojites. Aquaberry. Good to see you all. But yeah, no, I'm wondering when I should start. Actually, I don't even know if you guys will be able to watch this video. That's a problem. Hold on. Hold on. I need to find OBS. Desktop audio is an option. All right, hold on. I'm gonna play some sounds. Here's me. How many of you guys can hear this? Oh, I can't hear it. Wait, I'm muted. Desktop. You guys hear this? Oh, that's not good. Probably. Hold on. Hey, is that working?
And sometimes it just makes stuff up, but usually it's for...
That's probably confusing, but that's also me talking. Anyway. Is there much of a delay on this? Now we hear. Hey, it sounds low. Okay, I will turn that up. Not sure how much I can turn it up. Oh, wait, hold on. It's probably because it's turned down here. Oh, God. I'm sorry. Are you awake? Hello. All right. I've been teasing the video. I think we got about 8 people in here right now. That's plenty for me. That's a scary number of people. That's a small party. We're having a small party right now, and that's enough for me to kick off the main event.
Hi.
Whoa. Yeah. Hit me. Hold on. Get you over here. Ooh. New video. New video. All right. You all enjoy. I'll try not to say anything. This will get posted on the channel after this, after the stream. You guys are getting first dibs. TikTok can suck it today. All right, here you go.
Hi. Thanks for being here. I was wondering if you could do me a favor.
Ah.
It depends on the flavor.
Frankly, I need clickbait, particularly in the
Nope.
titty department. And I was hoping...
This is a highly inappropriate first interaction, and
I am trying to be as honest as possible.
You can't just throw the word titty out there at somebody as like the first sentence of your meeting.
But you...
It's pretty crazy.
But you know why the titty clickbait is important, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Clickbait's, it's a loaded term, but anything that might get someone to click or select or peruse some content has real power on the internet. And you're someone like me who's spending a lot of time making content for the internet. It's pretty cool when people watch your content. Speaking of which, have you seen any of my videos, by the way?
I've seen a few, yes.
Are you a fan?
No. I'm a viewinator. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, clickbait, it's honestly, if I can be real with you, I hate it. It's like this vibe, this toxic, rancid vibe, this desperate willingness to get attention. And I've honestly seen some really good videos that I kind of hate just because they have some embarrassingly noisy thumbnails, titles, and intros that are all just like screaming at me. Look, and do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can usually avoid most videos that are just outright clickbait. Like, if it's got a red circle on it, I'm probably not going to click on it because I'm not that stupid. If it's like just straight up titties, I'm not going to click on it. I can just look straight down and there they are. But there have been times when I'm just scrolling along, minding my own business, and somebody starts putting hot glue on their tongue, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I would say that is a time when, yes, Unfortunately, I had to stay to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, because the craziest thing about it is it works, or at least the techniques these people are using work.
They never resolved why they put the hot glue on their tongue, but
There's evidence that almost all of our little monkey brains can't help but have a specific reaction to certain stimuli that makes us curious enough to actually click on stuff. And the people screaming or making funny faces or talking strangely, they actually get results. They get seen. And honestly, I just find that so fucking depressing.
the knowledge of how our psychology works is only making people who are out for money more and more venomous, and I'm terrified for the future. And I want to weaponize my titties for good.
Do you think I'm worthy of the titties?
That's a difficult question. I don't know if I trust you with my titties.
Well, I need like any advantage I can get. Clickbait, it's an arms race. When I choose not to use certain techniques to bait someone to get their attention to look at my stuff, that person's going to click on something else that looks more interesting, something that might have even more titty.
The bazongas.
So really, that's the most important question. Do you think my content is worthy of the clickbait? Am I worthy of the titty?
I do enjoy your content. I think you're trying to make the world a better and more accepting and open place, as opposed to just putting hot glue on your tongue, so I can appreciate that.
I think if you could help me get people to click and watch my videos, I think I can make it worth their time.
You can have a titty trial. You can have a trial period.
Thank you. Okay.
That's a lot of power, but they are my breasticles.
Thank you.
Boobs.
Okay. All right.
Hooter knockers.
And just to ease my conscience just a little bit, would you mind actually sticking around for some of the videos? I don't want people to, fall in love with you through the thumbnail and then go, hey, where is, oh, wait, I don't even know what to call you.
Mustard.
That's a condiment. Like Miss Mustard? Or
titty.
That is the video. This is the new character that I'm going to probably be putting on a lot of thumbnails from this point forward. Miss Mustard, named by my friend who I have access to. I'm pretty happy with how the character design turned out. I'm curious to see how you all feel about utilizing titty and your stance on weaponizing titty for the thumbnail war. Miss Mustard is voiced by a IRL friend of mine who I have regular access to, and also I value their opinion on stuff. They are not... I don't know. They're kind of probably one of the funnier people I know. So I thought it'd be fun to have their perspective on a character that is literally just there to garner horny people and get them. I don't know how to describe it, but it is a unique relationship I have with this person, and I thought I could complicate it a little bit more to just go ahead and have them be a secondary mascot of the channel. But they also are hilarious, so I'll probably be including them in some of my videos. If you guys like them, I will probably be putting them a lot more in. So, Fracturous, I actually wrote a script with a lot of the thoughts that I had in the video and a lot of the kind of concerns I have. But the conversation was a live one on her end. She responded. I basically have one microphone that I'm using right now. Had that microphone on her while she was having some drinks. And I asked her these questions, and she responded with much of what you heard in the video. There's also, she said, like 18 other variations of the word titty at different times I didn't get to use. But after I recorded her audio, cut up my favorite bits of it, and then rewrote the script entirely, re-recorded it as if I was talking to her, and then edited the audio together. So it was like a half-live conversation. It was a live conversation on her end. Everything she was saying was a very natural conversation. For me, a lot harder to do that. I don't think I'll do that again. I'm glad you guys are liking it so far. We'll see how it does. I need to start really, really utilizing the horniness factor of it, though. I'm more curious about how you guys feel about Half-Life. Trucello, what you just reminded me, though, while I was watching that, I forgot a crucial part of the video. Let's go back to it if I can find it. Hold on. Man, I missed a huge opportunity here. I might do this before I haven't even posted this on the channel yet, so you guys are getting very early access. We might cram in one more joke before I post it. Right here with the Hooter knockers. I gotta go back to them. There they are. Okay. Definitely need some Half-Life Gmod collision physics here. What do you guys think? Just like the smashing and the breaking of physics being broken with right there. I was using some Blender features there that I have never touched before, and it was exactly what I was hoping for. If I could just loop. Right. I should have just had this looping in the background right there. I could have it going the whole stream. But if you guys, I don't know. I've always been very hesitant to utilize sexuality in my stream, even though I'm personally a fan of it. I know there's a lot of people who either find it degenerate or just not interested in it. My friend who does the voice of Miss Mustard is actually someone who just does not really care much about sexuality whatsoever. So I thought they'd have a good perspective on it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at thumbnails, and I never really wanted to be. It feels very kind of gross to me. So this video was kind of me coming to terms with that and trying to get better at that. And I think I've actually already done that to some degree. If you look at my YouTube channel, I can do that. You guys can get meta for a second here. Look, it's you guys. But if we go to my YouTube channel, I've actually gotten pretty good, I think, at doing clickbaity titles. I can get a lot better, but this one in particular, I thought was a pretty good thumbnail, and I've gotten fairly good success with this. That was me. I got the right on that little coattails. I think they did another thing of that recently. Would you guys be interested in doing some more like watch content? Let me get this over here. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. I was watching this whole debate happen recently of if you add Gordon Freeman to thumbnails, I would absolutely click. I had a hilarious comment one time where a guy was speaking to me as if it was a conspiracy and said, if you put Sonic the Hedgehog in your thumbnail, you will get 10K views automatically. And I have posted Sonic the Hedgehog in my thumbnails, and I did not get 10K views automatically. But I love how the guy was talking to me as if it was like trade industry secret, like YouTube hates people for this one trick. But so let's see what I have, like so much. I like just talking to you guys, and I so often am unable to do that because I try to stick to mostly just doing animations and just talking to you guys through the animations. But animation hard. Fact one. We'll study that tonight. Okay, all right, hold on. I'm gonna mute myself again because that is obnoxious. Thank you. All right, so animation hard. But I don't know if you guys have been following this drama recently. Stream easy. Okay? I like streaming. All right, Cuccello. Gordon Freeman. Why is Gordon Freeman so successful, you think? He's stating that if I put Gordon Freeman, if I could have not even bothered with this whole Miss Mustard business, I could have just used Gordon Freeman in my thumbnails, and he'd be bringing in more traffic than Miss Mustard would. I don't know if that's true, but it is. I'll consider it. I'll put it under consideration. Draw Gordon Freeman right now in pain. Want more mustard? That's good. Okay. But all right, hold on. Getting back on track of getting sidetracked. So for the channel, I know I mostly post extremely high quality content, and that's mostly what I do here. I want to start posting more frequently, and I think streaming is the way to do that. What about Gordon Ramsay? Also a good option. What if I had all the Gordons in one video? Would that be good? Do they compound upon each other? Does Miss Mustard have a phone number I can, or my friend can call? I have not yet released them to the public. If Miss Mustard wants to create a Twitter account, that might be something they'd be willing to do. Tavo, this is a great question. This is what we're gonna get back on track a little bit. So animation hard. Hold on. Let me. I'm gonna try and organize my thoughts. This is what I do when I make stuff. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna just try and keep track of what we're talking about. All right, channel. I could have just typed this. I'm not even spelling it right, probably. Problems. Okay, so I'm gonna also add problem number 3 is thumbnails manipulative. So Tavo, going back to Tavo, oh, Tim Curry should also be in the thumbnails. Okay, so Tim Curry, Gordon Ramsay, for those who are just joining, we are trying to figure out the ultimate thumbnail bait. So far, we know we need Gordon Freeman, Gordon Ramsay, and Tim Curry. If we have anyone else, it sounds like a really good Smash Brothers game. That would be fun. Okay, so to get back to Tavo's question. The question is this the traffic you want? Will they watch the whole video or feel lied to? Guess we'll find out. So that is a huge concern of mine. The problem is with a lot of this stuff, I've seen it successfully done, and the problem is with thumbnails is like there's almost a gut reaction that gets us to click on them. That's why you see so many Mr. Beast faces. I don't actually watch Mr. Beast except when Mr. Beast is talking about making his Mr. Beast videos. If you guys don't know who Mr. Beast is, he is the #1 YouTuber by most people's accounts, however you want to consider it. He's had a huge cultural impact on the world, and he is very popular right now and considered, I think of him as a robot designed to garner clicks and views. And he literally does like A/B testing, scientific studies on what facial expressions he makes in the thumbnail will produce more clicks. It gets down to that level. And he's noticed that, like somebody asked him, like, why aren't you more happy in your thumbnails? We can go pull them up right now. Why aren't you more happy in your thumbnails? And he said that the videos he posts, he knows that for some reason, whenever he looks more sad or scared, more often than not, people were more likely to click. So, or like he, sorry, it's just the exact same face every time. And it's really embarrassing for me. All right, so I'm gonna catch up on. Add this paint pic to the thumbnail of the stream. I think it will be there, Trujola. Armchair Tony says she manipulate my thumbnail till my channel has problems. Okay, excellent. Aquaberry says, are people only looking at thumbnails, not the description? Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I think Aquaberry, what ends up happening is most people will only look at the title and the thumbnail before they click, before making a decision. If you can see, look, they only show. Look, Mr. Beast doesn't even do anything with the description. Not saying he's like the best at this. I personally don't like his content, but he is kind of considered the. God, these faces. He's considered the expert at this stuff, and I'm not saying I'm going to start doing this over and over again, but at the same time, I could probably be doing more with my thumbnail work. I'm not the best at it. I've spent a lot of time working on this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And like I didn't really see a huge difference. But it's interesting because, and maybe it's just more differences between TikTok and YouTube. But I think it's really like you need something recognizable to grab onto and get excited about. And I really appreciate it, man. Oh, Mr. Egg! It has been a while. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out new ways to kind of push my boundaries. And also, I just think Miss Mustard's adorable. I'm really proud of how the character design turned out. I like designing characters, and I love spending an excessive amount of time making them look really good. I loved figuring out how to get her hair to work. But the problem is that oftentimes when I make a new character, they don't stick around that long. Like, don't think you guys have seen too much of these new characters that I've been working on lately. But I've been working on a lot of videos that are using unique characters, and I love working on their designs, but I have to kind of be quick about it because I know this is going to be one video and then done. But the idea of Miss Mustard being like kind of a co-host was really appealing to me and really fun. So I like her. I hope you guys like her. We're going to see more of her. But we can... I do think another important thing... What was it? What if Gordon Freeman titty? That's a good question, Tabby. I think that's an excellent question. We could give everyone... All right, so ultimate thumbnail. Just shooting this out there. Let me know what you guys think. Gordon Ramsay, titty. Gordon Freeman, titty. Tim Curry, titty. Anybody else? That's 3. I think we could probably pack a few more titties in there. Okay. Chuchel said, why Miss Mustard steal that Hat Kid's hat? That was absolutely not a reference. I love that game, but also didn't even realize I had designed her hat. I had just given her this purple color scheme because I thought it was a good way to kind of like sit next to 404 and still be similar colored. And then that she was not going to be Miss Mustard. And then in our conversation live, I asked my friend, what should I even call you? And she said Mustard. And that is how we came up with Miss Mustard. I added the Miss. It was she wanted to just be called Mustard, and she wanted her to have a big mustard stain on her face. That was, and I don't know if you guys like that more, but I added the little yellow to her design after that interaction just to have some theming for Mustard, and then I accidentally designed Hat Kid's hat. That's what happened there. I kind of made her look a little bit like a magician's assistant. That was my idea for her design, to kind of sit next to 404, since 404 is kind of a TV head magician. That's kind of his inspiration for his design. But I liked how it turned out. And also, if people see her hat as a reference to Hat Kid's hat, that's totally fine with me. I think some inspirations you just have to wear. I definitely like... I think my kind of shading style is also somewhat similar to how they shade stuff. Kind of cel-shaded a little bit. So, yeah, it's a reference. It's not something I did on accident. I totally did it on purpose. Go play Hat in Time. But a couple other things I want to talk about. I will post this video and Miss Mustard, and if I get enough people in here telling me that I need Gordon Ramsay, Gordon Freeman, Tim Curry titty, I'll do that. We can scrap the whole Miss Mustard character. I don't even have to post this video. I can just start using that in my thumbnails, and I bet that would get attention. I think people would click that. Like if I didn't refer to it at all and just had those 3 men's titties out and every one of my thumbnails, they'd probably go, "What is this?" And they would click it. And that is what YouTube calls click-through rate. And having a high click-through rate is important. And maybe I put in way too much work. Maybe it's all unnecessary. We'll find out. But the other thing I wanted to discuss with you guys is that last time I streamed, you might not have been here. Maybe you were here. I'm seeing some very familiar faces here. But the last time I streamed, we sort of started collaborating on a video together. That's what this is right here. Started doing it over here. Started doing it over here. You can tell my character started breaking down already. And he is completely broken now. I don't know what to do to get him working again. But we're going to figure that out. And also, more importantly, I was planning on... I have a whole epic video, guys, that I was working on that I wanted to surprise you with. I wanted to have it pop up out of nowhere. I've already animated about 10 minutes of it. And then I got stuck. And if you follow me on TikTok, you might have already seen parts of it, because my original idea was I would work on it in these sections, and then I would post them as they went. Problem is, I immediately started running into some... Hold on, I forgot that. 3. Thumbnail titty. I think that's what it was. So, I'm going to write surprise video here. Surprise video? Made on stream? Okay. The Gordon Freeman riot. Do Gordon interview. How do I interview Gordon Freeman? He doesn't speak. We're referring to the Half-Life character who doesn't talk. He's basically Link from Zelda. He doesn't say anything, so that wouldn't make for a very good interview. Off and on. Oh, the AI voice tuner. Oh, I don't know. One-sided interview for sure. Anyway, the what I've been working on. I've been working on an epic video, guys. Epic is the only word I can describe it. We talked about a streamer who makes Minecraft content, and I've been refining this video, and I looked at it. I've been working on this video for about a year now, because oh no, wait, that's 2 years ago. 2 years I've been working on this video, and I've been rolling the plot around in my head over and over and over again. I have not stopped thinking about it. I have been really working hard to try and make a character design that works really well. And it's hard to get everything that I want for the story because it's so perfect in my head. And it's been a rough go of it because I want to get it so perfect. But I'm starting to realize it's never going to be perfect. And I tend to realize this every once in a while, or I'll have a moment of clarity where I'll realize that, like, oh man, this is not necessary for me to work this hard on this stuff. But the bigger issue is I get burnt out working on stuff. You only spend so long working on animation before you just get tired of looking at it and want to do something else. And that's why there's been a lot of shorts on my channel, because these I can make in, instead of months or years, I can crank these boys out, no problem. Lickety split year. It is very simple, and oftentimes I have been surprised to find out that these videos are more successful than my other stuff. I did this one on a whim. So this was like literally me. I actually was practicing a walk cycle because I realized I hadn't animated 404 walking in a very long time. And then I was like, I could just try and do this. And then there was another thing I wanted to try and do where I wanted to do these anime speed lines. And that was literally all I wanted to do. And then I was like, hey, it'd be fun if I did this. And then this ended up being my most popular video in a long time. So part of me wants to just do more shit posts. Hey, Renato, what's up, buddy? Absolutely. I agree. I am good emoji. But like, so the problem is I want to make these epic 10, 15 minute, 20 minute long stories that are perfect, and I can sculpt them to be exactly what I want them to be. But the issue is that, it's hard to do that. It takes a long time. There's only so much I can speed up the process. And then I get really sick of doing that because it's boring to work by yourself on stuff for so long, and you get scared that it's not turning out the way you want it to. So then you end up not really working on it. Like, I've taken a long break. I've got the story worked out. I've got the okay, this sounds silly, but a big crucial part of the story is I wanted there to be a tree. A tree that is kind of the main centerpiece of this area. And it's not even something that it's not a literal tree. It's a metaphorical tree. It's very deep. But the idea is, you can actually go back and rewatch this stream, and I will tell you, you'll hear my plan for the story, and I've since worked the entire thing out. But, see, okay, Micah knows time for the yearly 404 stream. What I'm getting to with all this is I'm tired of working on things in the background, and I'm kind of a perfectionist. I'm working on that. And what I want to start doing is having these shitty Microsoft Paint streams, because I have fun doing this. And you guys don't seem to hate me anymore when I, do this. I'm just, bleh. You guys don't seem to mind, so I'm going to keep doing this. But what I think might be fun is, instead of me just blabbing forever and ever, I can start looping you guys into this stuff, and I can start bringing you into my process and asking you questions and showing you little peaks and views. So I think part of me is like, I don't want to ruin the content for everyone. I'd rather you see the video and it's fully formed, you know, ideal shape. But wow, okay, I'm not even on this version of Blender anymore. I don't even know if this is gonna work. Whoa, I don't. Okay, so to be real with y'all, I don't use this computer for anything but streaming anymore, and that's why I'm like kind of all over the place right now. But this is old content that I haven't touched. This is crazy. I don't know how old this is. I'm gonna click and see if it even loads. Oh, that okay. This is perfect. Okay, so this was originally the antagonist of my Minecraft video. And I keep talking about Minecraft, but that's just kind of been the code name for it that I've been using. If you don't care about Minecraft, that's okay. I'm writing the story, and the story is not really about Minecraft. Actually, we could go to my TikTok, and we could watch the intro. Let's do that. Okay, wait, hold on. Look at this guy. Because here's the thing. I ultimately decided that I didn't like this guy. I think he looks great, but he wasn't capturing the kind of energy that I wanted for the story. I'm pretty happy with how he turned out. And then what's crazy is I've actually gone back around and kind of converted this guy into a douchebag, and he's now the villain. So it's funny seeing him here, because I haven't loaded up this version of Blender in a long time. And he's just been hiding away in here. Maybe I'll find another use for him. But he was from a very early version of the story that I've since scrapped and rebuilt from the ground up because I wasn't really enjoying it. But what's funny is I kept the hair. I took his hair. Oh, not that one. This stayed. This exact hair model. I spent so much time doing this. I was like, I'm keeping the hair. The hair's going to stay. So the hair on the bad guy is the same now. Yo, what up? Is it up, guys? It's your boy, Gotta Play Minecraft. All right, Micah has seen this. Yes. All right. Micah's referencing the video. And I think I'm going to keep, even though I've only animated like the first 2 chapters of this, we're going to go into unholy territory now. Because I don't know. It feels like a sin to go onto TikTok on a YouTube stream, but secretly I love you guys more than my TikTok audience. Just kidding. Don't tell my TikTok audience that. Because I don't know. I mean, this might not be common knowledge, but like I'm pretty cool on TikTok. I got 200,000 followers on TikTok about. Okay. Here. You guys know I'm not a robot, right? Okay. Thank you. There I am. Nope, 172. I lied. Get trolled. It does look Sprout. You're absolutely right. That hair does look like the free one from Roblox. That was not intentional. But yeah, okay. So I'm actually a little bit more popular on TikTok. I think that's actually pretty common for YouTubers to go on TikTok, and I'm seeing a lot of people saying they're getting a lot more growth from TikTok, but it's also kind of temporary. Even so, I think I gained 2,000 subscribers on YouTube once I blew up on TikTok. So I know some of the people here are from TikTok. But hey, Sprout, you're Tammy. Okay. There's also another. Oh, there's Tabby and Tammy. I was getting confused. What's cool is I like hanging out with you guys in the YouTube server because it's a lot less of you guys, and I don't have to. That's one of the reasons why I've kept the Discord so small, is I like the fact that I know everybody on the Discord, and I can remember everyone, where it's harder to memorize people and know everyone when you have like 170,000 people following you. Okay, so we're going to look for one particular video that was... What did I do with it? Where is it? Not that one. It's not. Is it this one? Hi, hello, how are you? No, that's update video. Is it? It's not choose. How are you guys liking the choose comments choose video? Found you years ago on TikTok from your One Piece video and stayed ever since. And that's why I occasionally make other stuff that has nothing to do with my channel, because that One Piece video is why I blew up. That's why I also reposted it recently. Don't tell TikTok. I also made like $100 from reposting that. Kind of a big deal. But here it is. That's yes. Okay, let's watch this and we can talk about this video that we kind of collaborated on.
I'm sure I want to become internet famous. I mean, if you
You guys
have
hear
to
this?
choose a type of famous to be, don't get me wrong. I think internet is probably the way to go. You can be popular in a lot of different ways. You can do a lot of different things. And my personal favorite feature is that when you don't want to be famous anymore, you can just log off. Because deep down, I know I'm not supposed to want to be famous. It's vain, shallow, and usually meaningless. There's more than enough stories out there that tell you why you shouldn't want to be famous. But there's something about the idea of being popular, being celebrated, being held up on the shoulders of a crowd, chanting your name. I can't be the only one who's wondering what that's like, right? And hell, even if you don't want the attention, there's just money. We live in an information age. Humanity is drowning in data. People's timelines are flooded with content every single minute. And if you can do something that results in floating above that torrent of information to stand out, to actually have people paying you attention, that's a power people are willing to pay money for. There's a reason somebody paid over $1 million for Wordle. I've been looking into a lot of people.
Sorry, getting dated. The fact that I'm referencing Wordle.
In particular, this creator, Tommy Innit, said that he has
He's also less popular than he once was. Or he's probably still pretty popular.
25 million people large, which is about the population of Australia. He started accumulating a large part of that audience at the age of 14 when he downloaded a program that would allow him to start streaming. For the uninformed or old people out there, streaming is kind of a combination of like a live radio show on a TV broadcast. It's a contradictory combination of just hanging out and also putting on a show. It's become a pretty popular format, and one of the most popular ways to get popular streaming is through popular video games like Minecraft. And this is the route Tommy took. He started playing Minecraft, then started making content with some very popular friends, and started streaming some wild adventures. And in the process,
God, the
pulled in,
memes in this are already dated.
as well. I have to assume that to a lot of people, he's an inspiration. Other kids and teenagers, people hoping to someday have adventures like he has, have the popularity, the love, the acclaim, the celebration. People who are working hard to be witnessed by you. Unfortunately, that means there are others working to take advantage of that. I'm
Okay.
sure I want to become
That was just... God, that was such a
If you have to
quick
choose a type of famous
shot of
don't
him.
get me
Hold
wrong, I
on.
think internet is probably the way to
Go away, me. Here it is. Okay, so I might just show you a little bit of this guy. We don't have to watch the entire thing. But we could. What if we just did a reaction stream of me reacting to my own videos? Shut up. No!
But these people have harnessed the power of influence. They command the attention of thousands.
All right, we'll
of
watch this.
millions. And whether you're a Fortune 500 company or making Ninjago fan art, that's a power people want. It's the power that makes the internet.
No VA classes. I'm all natural, baby.
Familiar faces. That's enough to build something beautiful, something comfy. Hell, I was making content.
All right, pay attention to the dots. Those are important.
Getting less than 100 views.
The little glowy orbs.
More than enough to keep me going. But for some people, that's not enough. Some people need more. There's nothing wrong with wanting to have a little more influence over the way your world works, but some people can get a little desperate for that control. So much so that they might be willing to do, let's say, too much. All right, before I continue, let me just be completely honest with you. I don't think the story I'm about to tell you actually happened. Or
It didn't.
I don't have any real evidence outside of what people have told me.
I made it up.
Frankly, I don't need evidence. I've seen this guy. You've seen
Everyone
this
liked the
guy.
Ninjago fan art call out a lot more than I thought they would.
Extreme confidence, the dreams of success, the hustle. That's
Here he is.
Gotta play Minecraft.
Look at the hair.
This probably wasn't this guy's first attempt at creating a popular.
I might have changed it a little bit looking at it now.
So far, it was his most successful. Instead of trying to make it.
See, okay, look at the thumbnail. This is the Mr. Beast references. You can tell how long I've been thinking about this stuff.
Gain greatness, which is to say, he managed to become popular by claiming to be an expert on it. Gata hadn't grown too big yet, but it definitely felt like he was on the brink of greatness. His tutorials on how to stream were doing pretty good, but by far his most popular content were his mentorship raids. Basically, Gata would raid another streamer who was the same size or smaller, and offer a free critique on how they could
Oh, I've
improve
changed this so
their
much already too.
I don't know if Gatto is actually a good gamer or not, but he had a way with words. And even if you weren't interested in becoming a successful brand, he'd embarrass you by not being one. The whole thing had this thin veil of positivity, but the real appeal behind these little...
Hope you guys like that.
here.
It took a long time to get right.
Was finding more
Very proud of how it turned out.
students who were willing to learn.
If you get it, you get it.
Rising star, the guy who just needed that one viral moment, that next clip that would be big enough to push him to the next level, where he could be a real influencer. That moment where his world was going to change.
Okay, so that's where we're at with the story so far. I've done a lot more work since then. I even have, I think, like another 30 seconds animated that looks a lot better than all this. I decided at this point in the story that I wasn't really enjoying how it was looking, and I didn't want to keep animating it like this. It looked much bigger in my head, so I wanted to make sure I had a really nice model, really nice characters and all this stuff. And it's because, okay, so the overall story is about really deep down the metaphors. Well, actually, okay, so that's a big thing. Metaphors is what this entire channel is, if you haven't picked up on it. I love metaphors, and I think the internet is a really confusing, big, scary place, and I need to hold on. O'Tuff said, made a friend IRL, and a couple months later they gave me their socials, and that's how I found out they drew not safe for work Ninjago art. Wild stuff. The internet is a wild place, guys, and it's confusing and scary, and that's why a lot of my channel is about the internet, because I don't think people really appreciate how crazy this place is. I mean, they do, but I think when you imagine the internet, it's just like this kind of different place. It's not really here, and I kind of want to ascribe visuals that make it make sense and to where people can appreciate it in a proper way. And a big visual metaphor that I've been working on is this idea of attention and the attention economy. So these little lights, these little Mako energy things that are going around, those are meant to represent people. And in the same way, right now, you guys are kind of, I got 10 little, it looks like 10 little dots swirling around me right now, and I'm participating with you guys. And I think every time I show a person, you guys are a little bit more than dots, though. I think dots kind of represent, you know, the folks. So this guy had like a stream with about 4 people following him, and that's a nice experience. And that's what I like about you guys and having this little stuff going on right now. So the idea is that I'm wanting to start to visualize the internet runs on attention. It is its power source. It is the lifeblood of the internet that makes everything work as it is. And one of the big key visual metaphors for that I've been doing is these little dots. And it's because I think it's something that we're all after. Even if you're not a huge fan of attention, you don't want a lot of attention on you, you might want what the attention brings. You can be an artist and not want attention, but if you have the right, if you get out there and enough people see you, you might find someone, like one person who's willing to support all your work. You might not want a lot of attention, but you might want a small amount of attention that gives you enough to keep going. We all want affection. We all want someone who can understand us and reciprocate our feelings. And that is at the heart of the internet, I think, that connection, making a connection with other people. And I think some people, though, want a massive amount of attention. They want thousands of these little orbs flying around them. They want to harness them and they want to influence them to get more, and to grow and expand and gain power. But yes, exactly, Sprout. You want the right attention. But the story that I want to tell is about that divergence, that lots of attention isn't the same as the right attention, and how too much attention can actually burn you and destroy you and misshape you and change you. And that's really what I want to explore with this story. And it's really important to me because it's like, you know, I'm constantly in combat with myself and my own brain over just going for the easiest content. I think I could have started doing parodies, or a lot of you have mentioned that you found me through. Can you guys hear me? I just made a noise. I don't know. Am I still here? me see if you guys are hearing me. I was ranting and raving. What is the delay like? We're gonna find out. Hey, okay, thanks, Tabby. Thanks, guys. Okay. But yeah, attention's a big part of the internet, and I think a lot of people great quote by the guy who wrote V for Vendetta and Watchmen, Alan Moore. He referred to people, kids specifically, wanting to become famous the same way that children back hundreds of years ago wanted to become sailors, because they heard about all of the adventures these people would have and all of the amazing things that would be exciting and happen to them, and then they could come back home and they'd have so much respect, and my computer's still making noises. But like, I think he said that's the perfect metaphor for wanting to become famous today. Most people don't recognize what a huge responsibility it is and how careful you have to be with being famous. Alkazam says, this reminds me of Markiplier's 1 million sub special. He said he was crying because he realized he could never connect with all of his subscribers. Right. What I like about the current number of people in here is you guys are what I call, I would say these things are, I call them lurkers. I think they're people who you can sense their presence, but you can't really ever get to know them. They're kind of fleeting personalities. But I think once, and I recognize some people in here. I don't think I've had some very extensive conversations with some of you in here. And then some of you, like Mr. Egg, I just remember your name, man. I've seen you in previous streams. And I really appreciate you showing up again. It's good to see some names. But yeah, and then some of you I've known for years and years now. And you guys are persona, is what I would call. Like, and that's kind of every time you see a character like that, it's where you an internet personality starts to form, a persona. So I've kind of been working on this whole theory of, kind of an evolution of trying to visually represent stuff. So these guys aren't really persona. They can't really tell what they're doing, but you can get an idea of the personality a little bit. And everything I'm doing is kind of trying to build up one big visual metaphor for the internet. And what's been interesting is, as I've done that, like trying to visualize the internet, it's actually started to change how I see the internet. And it's made certain events so much more dramatic and epic and cool and scary and sad at the same time. And I just want to help other people see the internet in this cool way, because I think it's something that a lot of us spend a lot of time on nowadays. And maybe we don't appreciate it for how amazing it is. But I think, I don't know. Next time I have some notes written down about, Peter wants to reach out to you about your card. It had a lot to say. But yeah, I'm kind of scared about, so like, Miss Mustard is kind of an experiment in trying to understand if I can tap into sexuality, because that's a good, let's see if I can go all the way back up. I've said your name a few times now, but I want to keep credit because it's a very good question. It was, I can't find it now, but it was a question about the right attention. And this Pokemon video I made is a good example of this. I wanted to just make a video about a famous internet personality, just to kind of acknowledge them, and I wanted an excuse to, practice modeling some characters. So first I made a video asking people what they thought was significant about Pokemon and why she was so popular. And her fandom was really nice, but what I gradually kind of figured out was her popularity had more to do with the fact that she wasn't too crazy, and Twitch liked that her personality was somewhat mundane. The idea, though, was I was like, okay, so I can translate this. She's become a representative of Twitch and girl gamers in general. I'll make her the queen, because the queen isn't a very popular person, kind of a controversial figure, and that's kind of Pokemon. But everyone just assumed I was simping for her by calling her a queen, and that's why a lot of people got angry at me. Like, apparently I found out she used slurs without repercussion, and a lot of people were angry about that. I got a lot of attention for this video, but a lot of it was people calling me a simp, even though I think the metaphor of, maybe queens aren't a good thing went over their head. Might be my bad, but just an example of attention not being super great all the time. Aquaberry says, do you plan to explore the darker side of the net? So there is, I think the dark side of the net is an interesting area, but I think that tends to have more to do with criminality. I think that is exciting for some people, like people hiring assassins or buying drugs. But I have done research into that, and it is interesting, but I wouldn't really consider it necessarily the darker side of the net. If that might sound like strange, but I consider not that I don't think they're still up anymore, but the Kiwi Farms website to be the darkest, most heinous part of the internet. I don't know much about the Yesterweb SC. If you want to explain that, I'll come back and check on you. But Kiwi Farms is what I'd consider to be darker side of the internet, and it's basically just a forum dedicated to stalking people and provoking them in order to generate drama and content. And they tend to focus on people who are either mentally unstable or just prone to lashing out. And it basically is a site that thrives off of human misery and schadenfreude. And I consider it to be one of the darker sides of the internet. I think a lot of people would. I think when people think of the darker side of the internet, they often think, maybe you didn't mean that, Aquaberry, but I think it's very much, a part of what I'm going to talk about in this next story. I think one of the characters in this story are someone who is basically being stalked and harassed regularly, and this is a commonplace thing on the internet. And I think a lot of people in this chat even would consider it in some cases justified to stalk and harass people. Not saying that you're wrong for feeling that way, but I think that is what I would consider dark and kind of scary side of the internet. And I think it's very easy for people to dismiss it because there's still a very pervasive attitude of it's just the internet. It's not that big of a deal. It's not as big of a deal as being stalked in real life. But I think that Micah says, I assume the Cool Koala Club is a stand-in for the farms. Yeah, pretty much. They're not entirely. I don't want to spoil too much unless you guys want me to spoil things about the Cool Koala Club. We're referring to, if you don't know, the series of mine that I've been working on called Comments Choose. How do I make this longer? Can I go down for? Can I zoom out? Oh, okay. So the Cool Koalas Club, which we'll spell with a C for now. Cool Koalas Club. I got some harassment from people saying that I'm shouldn't be doing that, or that I'm trying to sneak in subversive things. I was trying to be subversive with it, but the Cool Koala Club is very much a exploration of harassers on the internet, and I probably won't spoil too much about their motivations right now because I want to explore that in story, but I will talk about them absolutely. They are kind of an inspiration of. I tried to combine the stalkerish harasser nature of 4chan that I've seen, where they kind of make a game out of it. And I tried to combine that with some of the people I've seen on the internet and how far they're willing to go when they think they're morally justified to go that far. And I haven't really dived too deep into what not the KKK, the CKC are capable of. I think I should, though, because I think a lot of people, I was surprised by how many people when I started the series, dog whistling. Exactly, Mike. I was accused of dog whistling basically for that. But yeah, no, I was surprised to see when I started the Comments Club or Comments Choose What Happens, a lot of my longer time followers, and I'd say people who are more savvy on the internet, know how dire it can get
when you have someone pursuing you or a group of people pursuing you and following you on the internet, and how sad that situation can get. But it's interesting because I think it's because TikTok tends to skew a lot younger. It's TikTok itself is pretty brutal, and I was surprised by how many people were like, whatever, it's not a big deal. I've seen people, doxing is gone to as such a quick response to anyone who's doing you wrong on TikTok. And it is terrifying to me because I think for people who've been on the internet a while longer, that's considered such a line. I know people, I've made some references to 4chan on TikTok, and people will get on my butt about it and be like, wow, you do that? Wow, you went on 4chan? Thing is, 4chan would consider doxing someone to be pretty extreme, and I think a lot of people on TikTok would consider it justified in a lot of cases that I would not. I have been doxed before Aquaberry, but it was not with my 404 account, and that's why I tend to be so very, very, very careful about personal information on my 404 account. I try to keep my IRL and 404 self very, very separate. But it is one of the reasons why I'm scared of the internet. I think it's also one of the reasons why I'm so pro anonymity, because I think most people don't realize how much worse of a ride on the internet is once you can't get off the ride. As soon as people have linked you to your online presence, it becomes very easy to harass and bother and just like, so this is an example of like why I do the visual metaphors. It's the equivalent of somebody leaving, if somebody left little post-it notes on throughout your day, you're just traveling around, you're going to the store, maybe you go to work, maybe you go to school, and you just, every time you hit a similar spot that you've been to a couple times in the past week, you'll find a post-it note insulting you. And it's not that detrimental the first couple times, but once you start seeing it everywhere, that presence is horrifying, because even if you're not actually scared or worried about the person doing that, it feels like those people that dislike you are with you everywhere you go. And it makes it very hard for you to get away from that. And I think that I think there's a lot of people who don't recognize how terrifying that idea is. And it's something that I want to work on. I want people to be scared of that. And it's stuff I put a lot of thought into to figure out. Because I think as soon as we can start doing a better job with helping people understand how bad it can get to be harassed online, maybe people will stop doing it as much. I think the issue right now is a lot of people go, yes, online harassment is bad, and no, you shouldn't do it to people unless you're someone that I think is just a huge piece of shit, and then you totally deserve it. And the problem is that as we've seen, political ideologies can get pretty extreme online in both directions. I think everyone's usually pretty aware of like how nuts it can get, but I think a lot of people don't realize that there is a bizarro version of you and your politics on the internet, and they are like, think of something that you would really hate someone like you. Like, I'm against people not picking up dog poop on the sidewalk, right? Like, if you're walking your dog and you don't clean up your dog poop, you're a jerk. I don't like you. Don't do that. However, I think that's a very reasonable position. I can guarantee you there is a straw man version of me on the internet somewhere who is so against people not picking up their dog's poop that they would pick up that dog poop and say, you deserve to have that shit smeared on your face if you do that. That, in my opinion, is insane behavior, and I don't relate to that. I do not agree with that stance. But the issue is that it doesn't matter. Some people would go, if this guy's, he's leaving dog poop on the sidewalk, dox him. Get him. Don't let him have a moment's peace. And I think it's kind of like this eye for an eye mentality, and I think it's kind of the darker, more horrifying parts of the internet right now, because a lot of people don't recognize it as being that scary because they haven't actually personally experienced it themselves. And And I think that's a big thing I want to do with my stories is I want to make people afraid. I want to make people scared, but also I want people to see how good the internet can be. I don't want to just Black Mirror it all the time, but I think that is an important thing that people can understand. And yeah, but another big part. Hold on, I'm gonna actually, you know what? I see a lot of great comments. Let me read some of these. Otuf says a lot of people don't recognize 4chan being more than just what it's in the news or something. Yeah, Otuf. I think 4chan has established its own cults of personality that they're very happy with. It's funny because I think it was originally really put together and made popular by edgy 18-year-olds, and it really hasn't been able to shake that. But I think originally that was kind of the idea. They didn't want people spending a lot of time there, but it kind of actually had the opposite result. It's interesting though, because I still like going on 4chan just because of how pro anonymity it is. I can get into that more later, but I think that's still a good thing. Even if it does result in like kind of an extremely toxic place, I think it's still important to have anonymity. But yeah, I think a lot of people on TikTok hate 4chan because of what they associate it with, and they're completely reasonable to feel it that way. But I would say that like using 4chan doesn't by default make you a bad person in the same way going to Saudi Arabia doesn't make you someone who justifies Saudi Arabia's behavior, if that makes sense. Or approves of anything Saudi Arabia does. Micah says, people have no idea how fragile the internet as we know it becomes when you remove anonymity. I agree. I think it would completely change so much about the way we talk to people on the internet. It's been very interesting to me to see how it started off as like a number one internet safety tip is you don't tell anyone who you are on there, and now it's almost seen as a negative or there's something wrong with you for not doing that. Mr. Egg says, every time 4chan or the dark web comes onto conversation, people say it's the worst and it's horrifying. I always have to bite my tongue from explaining that's very different from what's said. I think you're right to a degree, Mr. Egg. I think it's definitely not something you want to have a public conversation about with. I think you can get used to a culture really quickly, and I think there's almost like a sliding scale of what's acceptable and what's not, depending on what is culturally acceptable, which isn't to say like certain behaviors are okay because you're on a website or something like that, but I've found some pretty cozy sections of 4chan without, bigotry. Well, that's not true. There's always bigotry on 4chan, but I mean, you can have conversations with people who aren't bigots on 4chan, and you can have positive interactions, and I think a lot of people use 4chan for that reason. The problem is 4chan is organized in such a way that it rewards volatility and reaction, which means usually the stuff you'll see at the forefront of 4chan is the most angry and arguing people, and that's generally where you see a lot of the bigotry and whatnot. Alkazam says, I think negativity is a weird thing on YouTube or Twitch. You're a small channel, someone being mean to you would hurt, but once you get big, you can say, oh, you aren't real, and ignore them. See, Alkazam, that's a big thing I've heard from creators. It's a tricky part about it is, and I've started noticing this as well in my content, people are either generally too positive, which isn't to say that like, oh, you shouldn't be too nice to someone, but I think people or they're either too positive or too negative, which is to say that people like to go above and beyond because they want to leave nice things on people's, like you guys have said some really nice stuff to me already on this stream, and I really appreciate that. And I'm able to enjoy that because I'm a smaller creator. I can just go, I know that guy, they're pretty cool, and I appreciate them saying that. The problem is when you get to, Markiplier numbers, from what I've heard, there's so many voices, and as soon as you get to the point where you can start saying, yeah, that one guy who said I'm incredible and a great YouTuber is totally right, it's hard for your brain to then go, and that guy said I was the worst YouTuber, he's wrong. And all these people saying nice things are right, and all these people are saying mean things are wrong. It's hard to work that way. It's hard to justify one stranger's opinion without justifying another stranger's opinion. And from what I've heard, Alkazam, I've actually heard a lot of people who reach a certain height just have to stop interacting with their audience altogether because they can't ever turn that off. I think it's a skill that a lot of people have to learn how to do and interact with their audience. And when you can see the people,
it's a skill. I recognize it as like a huge mental ability to actively interact with a massive audience and not, lose your mind doing it. It's almost like staring into the abyss. It can really mess with you, talking with an audience for hours and hours at a time. You guys are cool though. It's been pretty easy for me so far. Otuf says VG generals are easily some of the most enjoyable places to lurk around. I wish people saw more things like those other than just what lurks in B or poll. Yeah, poll is definitely the biggest definer of 4chan right now. VG generals, for people who don't know, are basically just threads for people who like a specific video game or a genre video game or a series of video games to just hang out and talk about stuff. And it's basically the equivalent of like a bar that is always open and always dedicated to your favorite video game, and people can come in, chime in, talk about information or news they've seen or things they've recently accomplished. And it's a very casual, enjoyable experience, and I think there's a lot of places like that on 4chan. Aquaberry says maybe people had a healthier fear, they'd have more respect. Yeah, I think it's just more like, I think most people don't put the pieces together. I think a lot of people, I think it's so easy to look at someone else getting insulted, and if that insult doesn't mean anything to you, it's very hard to understand how that would feel. I think the scarier thing that I tend to see happening is kind of like how Alakazam said, you'll build up an audience of haters, basically. And the scary thing that'll happen is they'll just be throwing random insults at you. And you can go, whatever, I don't care. But maybe they hit that one weak spot that nobody really knows bothers you, but for some reason, somebody says a random insult that just hits that weak spot that really upsets you, and you go off on that person. And you quickly delete your comment, it's whatever, you delete your comment, you delete their comment, it's gone. But what if those people who hated you saw you responding that way to that thing? What if they decided, oh, maybe I should start, maybe they're a little sensitive about that, maybe I should start pushing that button a little bit more. I've seen that happen so many times, and it could be something like you don't even know about, like a person's sensitive about their height, their hair, their complexion. It could be anything, something that you don't care about at all, and you see somebody just freaking out on someone for insulting, your nose is a little too skinny, and you see a person lose their mind and go nuts and start deleting comments and just really getting upset in a very public way, and you go, geez, relax, but you don't know what your thing would be, and you don't even know sometimes what would actually really upset you. And then the worst part is some of these people are finding out what would upset them in this public way. Alakazam says, very important but irrelevant question. Do you pronounce niche as niche or niche? I pronounce it niche as niche. Hey, Awkward Sai, you look like a new name. Glad I'm getting to see this stream. You're one of my favorite creators by far, and I look forward to seeing what you do next. You missed the beginning of this stream, Awkward Side, but I will have a new video posted very, very soon. I'm going to make a thumbnail for it first, but it's good stuff. Here, I'll give you a little taste, or will I? Hold on. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Secret says, hey, 44, what happening? Man, I'm just talking a lot. I like talking a lot, and I'm doing these little doodles, and I was showing off a new video. Look at this. Look at all of that. But yeah, I think I'd like to start coming in here and speaking to you all more regularly about internet stuff, because the thing is, I want to accurately capture the internet, but I'm one man, and animation takes a very long time. Oh, here, I can add this down to the channel problems. Let's go. Problem number 4, internet fast. So there's like so much stuff that's happening constantly that's really, really interesting. Like, I just recently made a live Twitter world, right? And now, wait, that's not what I clicked on. TikTok, you liar. Here, you lost your chance, TikTok. No, okay, so I made a whole world to represent a metaphorical Twitter. And it was a lot of work, but I'm very happy about it, capturing a place that makes me feel like I'm on Twitter. And then Mr. Musk had to go and change the name of everything. And now I'm like so ticked off that he just, flipped a switch and maybe spent less time than I did even making this place to do so, that I'm like, all right, I'm just going to slap a big X drawing on here, and then let's see if I can. I'm just going to try and get a screenshot of this. It's super annoying, right? Because the internet changes so quickly, and animation, or good animation, I'm not saying my animation is great, but I am, no, come back. I am struggling right now to keep up with the internet. And there's so many things that I want to talk about and say about this place, but that I like by the time I get to it, it's already a completely different place again, right? So it's like, what am I gonna do? I can't just wait for Elon Musk to make up his mind about what he wants to do with this place. So like, part of me just wants to be like, hold on, let's see if we can make it. Okay, I gotta color this in. It is a huge pain to work on something for so long and then have the internet change underneath you. But it's also something I knew would happen. I've been working on this channel for so long. I think I've been animating, to answer your question, Aquaberry, I think I've been animating now over 10 years, on and off, like kind of, I got a little bit of training in school, but I was animating before that, and then I decided I didn't want to join the animation industry because it's kind of fucked. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Not going, Hollywood in general is not doing great, but animation has been not doing great for a while longer than that. And I decided that I just want to do my own projects anyways, so I've gotten really good at becoming economic with my economic in the sense of like trying to be very, very deliberate in how much time I'm spending on stuff. So you'd think, I'm like, Twitter will be around for a while. I can afford to spend, you know, a little bit of extra time making a really nice looking Twitter world. And whenever I talk about Twitter, I can just use my Twitter world, and you know, maybe we won't change it to X, the stupidest name ever. I don't even want to redesign it because it's such a stupid logo. It's brand X. It sounds like a cartoon meme. Sorry, but I did see a really good. An artist was leaving Twitter, and they said, for those of you still living in the bird skeleton. I really love that visual metaphor, and I think I might see if I can capture that idea. That inspired me. I was like, I don't want to stick X on everything in this place I just made, but like the idea of kind of like an elephant graveyard, but just giant birds. That was a visual idea that I was really excited about. Instead of filling in the square manually, you can press fill, then solid color. I tried that. I don't know. I'll work on my MS Paint skills over the next coming streams. I'm sure I'll get better at it. Maybe use the same scenario, but make Elon paint a huge black X. Yeah, I was thinking of that, but the idea of making my big pretty Twitter ugly the same way he made it ugly was really actually upsetting for me. I was like, maybe I could just preserve my Twitter and let him, you know, keep calling it X. Maybe just put like a post-it note, because this is what it feels like he did. I still see the words tweets all over the website. And Twitter was still one of my favorite places. I know it was not doing well, but it was kind of working for me purely because of all the problems it had with it. So I'm really taking the loss of Twitter hard, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. Speaking of your Twitter video, the stairs were wrong. I made a comment on your YouTube, but the stairs you had were 45 degrees. Most proper stairs are 30 degrees. I really appreciate that, Alakazam, because I did spend some time trying to make these. Let's see if we can get an angle. There it is. I did make it 45 degrees. That was just the easier route of going. That's interesting. I didn't know that. That is an excellent fact. Hold on. You're getting added to. Okay. I want to do more stuff like this, y'all. If you guys have suggestions for the videos, I would love to hear it. I love talking about my stuff. I don't mind criticism at all. Well, I might mind criticism. If you tell me something and I'm upset to hear it, I'll try and let you know. Problem number 5 of my video. Stairs are 30 degrees, not 45. That's actually great because I was actually struggling with that Alakazam. I was trying to make it work, and I was like, it doesn't look great, but these are gonna be in the background more often than not. So it's good to see that some people are paying that close attention. I actually love that. Yeah, let Elon calling it X on his own delusion. I'm absolutely gonna keep calling it Twitter. Some people are talking about how like, you know how some people will call soda Cokes, and Coca-Cola works so hard for that dominance and just using so much money in advertising to make people think of Coke as the soda. The fact that people will call some types of messages across the internet tweets, even off of Twitter, is something you can't pay for. And Musk is going, no, mine's going to be better, though. It really reminds me of how, I don't know if there are any gamers in the audience, but the Xbox console went like this. It was, the first one was called a Xbox. Then it was called a Xbox 360 for some reason. And then they came out with the Xbox One. And they assumed everyone would just start calling it the One. And then they would have the One console. But instead, everyone just started calling it the Xbone for short. And I have a feeling that's what's going to happen with X. I don't think anyone's going to call it X. I think everyone's going to call it Zwitter. Or at least I'm going to work very hard to only call it Zwitter. And I want to make Elon cranky about it. I want to hurt him the way he's hurt me by ruining... I'm not even talking about like his politics or anything else. I'm talking about purely from a design perspective. I hate you. I hate you. But Aquaberry, I quit. But lots of artists have not, due to it being their only source of income. Yeah, Aquaberry, I can't blame people for abandoning ship, but I've been on too many what I call website exoduses, or just internet exoduses, where people will. I think I first started seeing them on Reddit like a long time ago. Oh, it was Gamergate. That's what it was. A lot of sites were doing stuff about Gamergate. And a lot of people were like, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. And they were right. They left and they didn't come back. But ultimately, websites persist even after large swaths of people leave. And what I've actually noticed is with these exoduses, the big change that actually happens to the site is a shift in politics. Like, so for instance, I saw a lot of conservatives leaving Reddit around Gamergate, or a lot of people who were like anti-feminism or whatever. And the site got a lot more left-leaning after that. So really, my advice is if you don't like the change that is happening to a website, you actually might want to stay, just because those places tend to... Well, I guess it depends on your opinion. If you found out that, you know, like the place you're leaving is going to get a lot more against your beliefs, I can't blame you for leaving. But also, I think that it's important to, you know... It's like the equivalent of like a gentrification of a neighborhood, if that makes sense. Like selling your house to a rich person because you don't like all the rich people that are moving in, it just brings in more rich people. But if you stay, maybe other poor people come. I don't know. This metaphor is not working. Ignore it. Alexam says, Lamau, Seeker. I am no expert. I've just been making stairs for a while. As per shop drawing, the average stair. Oh, see this. I love this. I should have looked this up, but it was like one of those things that like I was designing this whole place, and I just knew there needed to be. Oh, TikTok doesn't like me. Yeah, you know what, TikTok? How about that? Just gonna go over here. Hold on one second, guys. I'll be right back. My dog is trying to escape. You guys know I have a dog now. Please keep this information secret. But the Albie knows facts. Yeah, you know what? Stair stream. That's where this is now. Okay, but no, like the idea was to build. So maybe I can just talk about this, and then that way I can move on from the fact that I probably won't be using it again. Or if I do use it, it's going to be uglier. The the Twitter location I came up with, I wanted it to feel like a part mall, part abandoned train station. Twitter to me feels like the public square of the internet to a degree. I've always liked it for that reason. It feels like I've always associated it, even before I designed this place, I've always kind of associated it with like it being like New York City streets, which is to say like this thing that so many people consider to be like the heart of civilization, and yet it's still kind of disgusting and filthy at the same time. So I built it off of Grand Central Station a little bit, but I also threw in some abandoned mall aesthetics with it. I like the empty feeling of the internet because I think it is a very full, crowded place, and that's something I've kind of experimented with on some other videos. But I think it is ultimately kind of, despite the fact that I have 12 people here with me currently, hello everyone, I think that it is an ultimately kind of, it can be a very lonely experience. I'm in this room by myself right now talking to 12 people, and you guys are probably in your rooms alone, or maybe you have some loved ones nearby you, but it can feel like a liminal space to a degree, and I didn't even know that term until, like a year ago when I had some friends, fellow creators online talk to me about it. But how come you thought of a train station? So that was mostly due to the Seeker, the comparison to New York. New York, I think, has a very weird aesthetic in my head of being simultaneously impressive and horrible, and like depending on who you're talking to, it's either the most amazing place or the worst place. And I think that the people who use Twitter would tell you something similar. It's kind of a love to hate it, hate to love it kind of location. I think it is I've said this a couple times, I think of it as like the Thunderdome of the internet. You have a weird mix and mash of real people using the real names with anonymous people using meme names and anime profiles. And for me, I think it's one of the most interesting places on the internet, which is what's made Elon touching it and poking it so hard for me, because I don't think it was a perfect place or run perfectly before by any means. I don't think it had the lean that a lot of people thought it did. What just happened? Where did it go? YouTube broke. But I like the bird. I like the bird app, and I can understand why people will be like, it's the bane of society and da-da-da. I think I like it because it represents this. Wow, look at that bird. That's beautiful. I think it represents kind of like, there's I'd say like two versions of social media right now. There's like a actual lonely people meeting and hanging out and enjoying conversation with each other, kind of like we're doing right now. And then there's also for lack of a better word, Instagram. I know there's probably cooler places of Instagram. I haven't been able to locate them myself. But I think when people are using it as a social media as a communication tool and not a comparison tool, if that makes sense, or a combat tool. I don't know. I even like the combat aspects of it, but I think that there's not. I think Twitter it's a grab bag of everything that is good and bad of the internet, and I think that's why I liked it so much. It was a good representation of the internet experience as a whole. Sorry, I'm reading Alkazam says, Mr. 404, if you need any help designing I-beam stairs, anything structural, let me know. I had the most knowledge about the specific niche of anyone. I think you said niche instead of niece. Of anyone else in this stream. I appreciate it, Alkazam. The interesting thing is I am playing with fictional worlds. I don't actually have to worry about anyone not being able to use the stairs in this stuff. However, it's kind of an animation, not even animation, a design rule that good design will feel real. It'll feel true to reality, even if it's not based in reality. You want to stick to it in a way that feels real. The benches you see in the background of these shots I made it to where 404 could sit on them. And I kind of put those stairs in because I was like, I think there should be a way to get up those stairs. But then ultimately I was like, they kind of look like pyramids, and I kind of like that. That's mostly why they stayed in there. But yeah, I fiddled around a lot with them, and I was like, I probably spent like, I don't know, 30 minutes at least messing with those stairs. So it's funny that you pointed it out because it felt like, bumping into an old problem again. I will consult you in the future. If you're not on the Discord server, I can go ahead and hold on. Let me see if I can Discord server and then get you guys a link, because I'm sure most people in here have already joined. But if you haven't, I want to make sure everyone can get in. In the meantime, enjoy my not so good Elon Musk character. I'm not good at that. I want to get better at caricatures. It's hard doing faces that feel right, and that's something that takes a long time for me to get right. That face isn't too bad, right? From that angle. Man, see, but like I had to spend like 20 minutes just looking at this guy's face to try and get it in a way that doesn't look, at least trying to get it to at least look recognizable, and that was harder than I thought it would be. And sometimes I don't want to spend that much time thinking about all that stuff, but it is a interesting time to spend so much, put so much work into just like similar to the stairs. It's like that guy, his face has a lot going on that makes it very recognizable. But you really can't say it off the top of your head. Like if I asked you right now, what defining features of Musk are most important for recognizing Elon Musk, what would you say? Like I'm gonna try and draw him, but like it's something about the shape of his head, man, and like his lack of eyebrows. I'm trying to draw him without like any reference right now, and I don't know if I can do it. But he is a very unique looking individual, I'll say. Man, I was really hoping that fight between him and Zuckerberg would happen. I can't believe I'm at a point where I'm like rooting for Zuckerberg, but Musk is talking in a very clear way where it doesn't sound like he intends to actually fight Zuckerberg, where Zuckerberg is literally like, date and time right now, man, right now. And then Musk is like, whoa, look at this guy. Like clearly not saying date and time. So I don't think it's going to happen, much to our misfortune. But yeah, I don't even think that looks like him, but it's hard. Alakazam says, the thing that pops in the mind when I think of Elon is even when he smiles, his lips point down as if he's frowning. Interesting. Looks like a president. Oh, that's a scary thought. Aquaberry says, I cannot make Insta work for me, lol. I'm actually doing okay on Instagram. I think they have a very similar format to TikTok right now. Like they definitely just ripped off TikTok in terms of their format. And just by reposting a lot of my content in there with like little to no interaction, I've got a couple thousand followers there, which I was surprised by because I've posted stuff there before and it didn't really work. Excuse me. Can't type and think at the same time. But yeah, Instagram, I just haven't. So if I had to come up with a visual for Instagram, let me open up another tab here. Yeah, sure. I'll save this. If I had to think of a visual metaphor for Instagram, I think of it as a very sterile museum. I think it is not a very. Okay, so earlier I was like, it's a comparative social media instead of a communicative one. I think that there is a problem with some social medias where it's more about social points than it is about actual communication with people, which is fine. I think like a lot of societies have that system, right? Like they'll operate exclusively in this realm of like what is your social credit score, right? Like it is like how good of a civilian are you, or how good of a cool kid are you? And there's a very clear like who's winning and who's losing kind of mentality. And I think a lot of the internet, social media specifically, has been like kind of like engineered to tap into that mentality. And what I found is that before like Facebook and all this stuff and MySpace, there was another side of the internet that was purely like pen pal driven. It was this idea of getting to know people first before comparing yourself to them. It was literally about like establishing your personality first, not because you want to look better than other people or more interesting than other people, but because you just want to be known. I think Facebook is like, here's the clear route to what you need to be successful, because look at all these other people. I think there used to be like this mentality of I'll define myself first, or not even define myself. I'll just find other people like me first. But I think there's a contest mentality to a lot of Instagram. And I think it almost comes off as very sterile to me, because there's not a lot of actual communication happening on the app. It's mostly, here are photographs of my life. Here is a beautiful tree I saw today. And you might occasionally have some people who are like, if you've ever been to a museum, there's not a whole lot of conversation happening. It's just usually people kind of standing around going like, that's a tree. Okay. And there's not much conversation, and then maybe a person will make like one comment or something like that, and then move on, and it's not a big deal. It's just Seeker said, I have difficulties using Insta too, since I'm a wordy person. I like posting my thoughts with no images attached. Yeah, I completely agree, and I think more so I haven't been to Threads yet, but from what I've heard, it's like a worse Twitter just because it's only people who aren't used to using words. It's a word exclusive, or not word exclusive, but it's a word primarily platform, but it's a lot of people on Instagram who aren't used to just leaving comments now. I saw somebody reposting Drill, who's like one of the most famous shit posters on Twitter, reposting some of his tweets onto Threads, and people just missing the jokes entirely, like they just took them very literally. I thought that was a perfect little summary of what I feel like Instagram is, and maybe I'm just biased. Like what I'm saying is how I feel about the place, and it might not necessarily reflect how it actually is. Because like I said, I haven't spent a whole lot of time there. Everything. And I'm kind of a hypocrite in that way, because I've told a lot of people that I genuinely enjoy TikTok, because I think it's restored. I think, weirdly enough, YouTube doesn't have much communication either these days. I think it is mostly this kind of, very stationary, like extremely just like witnessing what's happening. You go there and you witness, and like I appreciate you guys leaving comments and stuff, because I enjoy interacting with each comment if I can. But it's a one-way communication, right? For the most part, like if you want to communicate with a content creator, they have a choice not to even say anything back. So there's not a whole lot. Like you get some arguments in YouTube in the comments, and like I'm seeing some discussions happening in the chat right now and stuff where people are talking to each other, and that's good and that's healthy. I think that's, in my opinion, a healthier social media platform, and I think that Instagram for the most part hasn't had that. I don't know, that could be just my biases, but if I did make an Instagram, it would probably look like a very sterile, plain museum without much going on in it, just because that's been my experience, which is strange to say, because like, man, I'm sure there are people there that are posting some crazy good memes and coming up with some really interesting content. I know a lot of people have said that they follow some really interesting creators on Instagram. I'm sure they can post some stuff that like you can't find on YouTube, but I haven't. You have to really dive deep to get to know. Hold on. You have to dive deep to get to know of website, online space, because alternatively, it's like traveling to another country and not leaving the airport, right? Because like I remember this one post I saw a long time ago of a guy warning people. He's like, traveling's not worth it. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? Whoa, I didn't do that. Excuse me? Traveling's not worth it. I've traveled all over the world, and it isn't good. There's nothing worth it there. It's waste of time, waste of money. It's not nearly as like life-changing experience as some people will tell you. And people were like, wait, where have you gone? And the guy listed off a bunch of things, and they're like, well, what'd you do there? And he was like, I just basically ate at some restaurants. They basically had the same restaurants that we have, and there wasn't really anything else to do there. And people were like, dude, you gotta at least like leave, because like so many different countries will have a very universal and welcoming experience for people when they first get there, and then they try to make like a very good impression, be like, here's what's going on in our country. But you really can't experience a new location unless you really submerge yourself in it to get to know what's different about it. So admittedly, I haven't done this with Instagram yet. Dived very shallow into Instagram, but I think the reason I haven't is because I've kind of done that before. I don't know. I think I originally felt this way about Facebook as well, but recently had an IRL friend showing me some stuff about how wild Facebook can get. I think the main reason I've stayed away from Facebook is because it's pretty much exclusively IRL people. Nobody's really using anonymity at all, and like that sounds wild to me. I like the screenshots I've been seeing are like some trashy Jerry Springer level. My baby's mom is flirting with someone else over here, and I can see it on their profile, and they don't care, and like just people probably sharing way too much personal information about them. And like that, I don't know, that's not nothing. It's not great, but it's probably still worth exploring to some degree. But while I'm logged in, let me go ahead and get you guys, for those of you who've been sticking with us for a while, invite to the Discord. I think a lot of you, like I said, are probably already joined, but just in case, and maybe there's some lurkers who haven't been following me for too long or haven't seen me, but go ahead and post that in chat right here. You guys are seeing that. All right, let's see what we've got. Comments. Awkward Side says Elon would bring sand to the fight and throw it anyways. Oh man, that's great. Rest in peace. That voice actor who played Dale Gribble died recently. It's now all the Dale Gribble jokes just make me sad. Pocket sand. Seeker says I have difficulty using Insta 2 since I'm a worried person. Yeah, I read that one. Mr. Egg says don't forget to post a Discord link. Just did it. Thank you, Mr. Egg. Alexander says whenever I travel to a new state, I always find a long scenic trail to hike on. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to do on the internet too. Finding a common activity that you enjoy, that you will still produce unique results. Finding a trail in a new state is a great way to see the differences between the state and understand what's going on and see what's happening and what's different between, like, in terms of wildlife or in terms of fauna, flora. And I think you can do that in on different social media apps too. I kind of consider, weirdly enough, I did this for a short period. I don't think it worked out in terms of an actual visual metaphor for the internet, but I wanted to come up with a visualization of memes. And I kind of settled on this because I got a cube thing going on, and I wanted to be able to visually represent the memes as well. They're kind of okay. I kind of like the idea of Wojaks being crabs, and I like these emojis being little birds, and the Barbie memes being giant Barbie legs. I don't visually, aesthetically enjoy what I did, even though I think metaphorically it works. But I do think of like memes as like the flora and fauna of a web site space, because I think they are a great way to kind of like, okay, what is popular here? Like I can instantly recognize Tumblr memes and tell the difference between them and 4chan memes. There's a combativeness to 4chan memes that comes from a place where you get more attention for being combative and provocative. And on Tumblr, it's a lot more, if this is going to sound weird, confessional. I think a lot of Tumblr memes are more like expressions in the sense of like guilty pleasures and stuff like that. It's almost like passion, but like very embarrassed passion and like, oh God, I can't believe I'm like this. Where 4chan almost comes off as more either intentionally aggravating or provocative, or 4chan does have some like I think Wojaks, like let's look at some Wojaks, guys. Down here. That's what I was gonna be like. It might be fun to classify different memes as different kinds of genuses, stuff like that, or animal types. Because there's so many Wojaks. You guys have no idea. If you're not familiar with this guy, let's look at some Wojaks. So these kind of, I think, started off not entirely on 4chan, but I think 4chan popularized them. Let's go to Know Your Meme. If you guys aren't familiar with Know Your Meme, they're pretty good. It's like a ongoing... They're not great, but they do have a... They're about as good as it gets when it comes to meme history. But, let's see. Akazam says, memes are a dangerous thing, man. iFunny is memes first, everything else second. It's now a space mainly for the far right, very radicalized, full of bots, and not safe to newcomers. Interesting. I still need to dive into iFunny. So, okay, one thing I definitely want to do if I start streaming more regularly is I'd love to... Okay, hold on. We're going to make a places to travel to list. Sites I want to visit on stream. Or I'll say, oh, that's good. All right. I've heard so much about iFunny, and it was really funny to me. It might have been one of you guys, Alexander, it might have been you, but when my One Piece video went viral, everyone was telling me about how it had been jacked over to iFunny. And it was really funny because everyone was giving these warnings about going on to iFunny. And I also couldn't see the actual post because they couldn't share it, which was wild to me. So iFunny is a place that I've been hearing about for years, and I know that the culture has changed a lot. Only been on iFunny for a bit over 3 years, and it's an odd place. See, I keep hearing that. That's the most enticing thing you could tell me. Can you tell me if there's an algorithm? Like, is there any way to steer the ship as to what's happening? Awkward Side says, personally, I thrive off surreal memes, and I'm loving the thought of one of those in this style. Okay, so like maybe I'll expand on that style a little bit more. I just wasn't too happy about how they were turning out. But like, yeah, I think surreal memes are pretty funny. I think that they are... I think it's almost like they have to keep... That's the interesting thing. That's why I kind of consider them to be alive. They have to keep evolving to stay funny. So that's why you see this weird change where memes kind of stay the same, but they also completely evolve and become... You can almost find equivalents of old memes in modern day and see like, oh, like this is the new Rickroll, this is the new blah blah blah. And it's fun just to track those memes and to follow them and to kind of like understand them a little bit more. iFunny, so we gotta go to iFunny. But like, so this Wojak entry is updated 6 months ago, added 8 years ago, and it's a pretty interesting. The exact origin of Wojak illustration is unknown. Oh, did it originate from... That is so funny. So I haven't even heard of Sad and Useless. But this meme is a classic, and it's still getting used today, and I have to update it today. That's so funny. That's where it came from originally. But yeah, then you can see people using it almost as like a weapon in some cases, or as like a justification to express certain feelings. Look at this. There's political associations. It's become a mocking. Become a quick way to mock someone. It's a very efficient way to immediately let people know. Like I don't know. It's funny to me. The Wojak in particular is funny to me because it's simultaneously used as a this is literally me kind of meme, which is pretty popular. but it can immediately flip to this is you, not me, and you're embarrassing. But yeah, so Wojak was one. I did these little guys, which are these like kind of like originally created emojis. I think I've seen a lot of these on Tumblr, but I think they were also popularized on Twitter. The Barbie memes and the Oppenheimer memes have been massive. Somebody pointed out to me how I did a video a while back on Animal Crossing and Doom, and that meme for a while, how those two things had kind of a almost exactly the same, because they came out, Doom and Animal Crossing came out on the same day, and it was almost exactly the same meme as the Oppenheimer, Barbenheimer meme of like this almost opposite fandoms colliding and how they can get along really well when they're not stepping on each other's toes. That's another great example. Let me read these new comments. Albie Gian, friend of the channel, co-collaborator of the channel. Let me find out Albie's. Y'all go to Albie's Newgrounds because he is an excellent musician. Still haven't listened to your new one, man. I might put that on in the background if that's cool with you. We love Albie. Albie has composed. You've heard Albie's music if you've watched all my videos because he has made many a song for the stuff that I do. A great musician. Make sure it's not too loud. I'm gonna talk over it still if that's okay, Albie. Oh, see, as soon as you said it was some jazz stuff, dude, I was like, I'm gonna use this for something. I'll figure it out. And I saw you out earlier, Albie, say Miss Mustard's would have electro swing, and I haven't listened to electro swing in a while. I've kind of fallen out of it, but if you made me some electro swing, I would absolutely use it in some videos. I actually think I have some Albie. I used to play your music when I did these streams too, in the intro and outro. Okay, let's see, where were we? Oh, we're reading your comment. Darren question, Albie says, but how would you imagine Newgrounds to look like? I always was curious about it. Man, Newgrounds is a hard one. I've struggled a lot with it. I think I associate it with high school classrooms a little bit, which is actually similar to how I picture Discord as well. Kind of these private spaces where people are... Let me know if you guys are having trouble hearing me at all. Newgrounds is challenging. I think it's very similar to YouTube for me, but it feels more like, I think if off the top of my head, Albie, I'd say Newgrounds feels like similar to my YouTube video, YouTube, how I visualize YouTube, which is, let me pull this up to give you an idea. Okay, so this is the YouTube space I came up with. And so YouTube I kind of picture as this endless infinite theater where you're interacting with the audience in such a way that it's like the audience is just as much of a focus as the actual show. Newgrounds for me gives me the same vibes as like a abandoned school where they've taken over the gymnasium and it is being used for punk shows and all these like experimental bands. Because like I think what's the biggest, hugest difference between Newgrounds and YouTube is, and this is an important one, and it's actually the reason why I'm actually spending a little bit more time on TikTok these days than, or posting, I should say, more on TikTok these days than YouTube, is because Newgrounds and TikTok actually encourage and push people to watch content that isn't the best. Which sounds mean and bad, but the actual result of that is a much richer, diverse, and creative community. And I think Newgrounds is much better, by the way, at this than, see, they're doing, like, Newgrounds is for artists. So that's why I think it would be like a grungy concert location, because it's like going to see a local band. You don't know if they're going to be good or not, but it's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be a compelling time. You might not have a good time. It might not be good music that you're getting. Though, can I just say, just this front page alone is already like, I think I've like talked about how much I love Punch Punch Forever on Twitter, but like all this stuff is going to be very interesting. I think the problem is that the only reason my Newgrounds hasn't like blown up the internet as a whole is because it doesn't use any kind of an algorithm whatsoever, which is simultaneously morally impressive and also just like amazing that they've lasted so long doing it this way. And I think it's because the people who prop it up are artists. I don't spend a ton of time on Newgrounds because I think while it is a great place for artists to start off and grow, I think it is also a I think you have to kind of be an artist and be willing to sit through some stuff that you might not love 100%. And I think usually artists are the only ones who are like willing to kind of do that. And also there's just the general problem of if this aesthetic isn't already something that you're interested in, it might be hard to kind of get into. But like, I think the reason I haven't dove deeper into Newgrounds than I have is because there's not much of a 3D animation presence. And I feel a little bit like the redheaded cousin in this place whenever I post things here. I think 2D animation is definitely propped up and supported a little bit more. No, which isn't to say that I haven't been propped up and supported. The reason I love Newgrounds so much is because when I just started my channel and I'd spent 6 months working on a video that got 0 views on YouTube, and I was having to post it on Reddit and random forums, and I get like 1 or 2 pity comments. Tom Fulp showed up in my video and left a comment and said I did a great job. And I think he even like did a thing that pushed me to the front page somehow. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like the first time I had gotten any kind of significant feedback or appreciation for my content. And it's like, I don't know if I'd still be making stuff if he hadn't done that, because I was kind of feeling like it wasn't worthwhile until he did that. And then all of a sudden it was like anyone could see my stuff on here, and that was a huge motivator. And in that sense, like, I think that Newgrounds is, it's like, yeah, I think in a dirty small concert venue, and I say that with the most, as maximum love, because it's like, you don't know what you're going to get, and that's honestly the best thing you can ask for as an artist. You kind of have to, as an artist, you kind of have to learn how to love stuff that isn't perfect so that you can come around and start to love your own stuff. Because when you get started, man, you are gonna love your own stuff. You got to tolerate some of your own bad art to get good at art. And yeah, I need to make one for Newgrounds. And I think they'd appreciate a grungier vibe as well. I should probably do that. I need to start doing more of these contests too. I just get so caught up in my own work and feel bad for not doing my own stuff. All right, let me see these comments. I forgot about Newgrounds for a second. Oh my god, I never post there. I rarely post there too, Seeker. I feel bad that I don't post there more, but lately I've been experimenting a lot more with these vertical 10-second videos, and people don't seem to like those too much there, which isn't to say they hate them or I've got any kind of hate or anything, but I'm just like, I think I might wait until I can like post like a lot of them all at once. Like, I kind of want to make a longer video and use these as kind of like ad breaks, like break up the chapters by posting some of these loading screens. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, I think Newgrounds does prefer quality over quantity, which puts a little bit of pressure on you to try and step up. But I think I follow a lot of people on here. This isn't my account, but like a lot of people I follow in here aren't that great, but they're doing interesting stuff that I like to see what they're doing. Albie, though, I follow Albie because Albie's amazing and I enjoy all of his work. Albie says, I like the idea of Newgrounds being a high school where you go to grow as a person or an artist in the case of Newgrounds. The different clubs being all different portals where you show your stuff and get feedback. Tom Fulp is such a nice person. He's the nicest person on the entire internet. He's also seen some crazy shit, I imagine. I'd love to just sit down and talk with him someday. Such a nice person, and he's probably the only owner I know who gets almost 100% involved with the community. Yep. Yeah, Newgrounds is great. I spend time on Newgrounds. I could probably dive a little bit deeper. I think I'd need to think of some, I don't know, like some of these. Speedo made a amazing fake 90s anime. I'm not gonna do a react video here, but if you like cheesy 90s anime, and if this style looks at all appealing to you, just watch it, man. It's great. He put so much love into this video, and it's fantastic. But yeah, and Newgrounds supports this and puts this stuff up in front. Like, check this shit out. This is cool, and they'll support you if they think what you made is just awesome. And I think like YouTube buried his video when it first came out, and he had to fight YouTube to get them to not stop hiding his video. So it's like, I think YouTube's scared of the same thing that Newgrounds loves and promotes. I think Newgrounds loves and promotes weird creators who are just getting their start and tries to encourage events where you can stand out and not have to worry about, getting buried by other things. YouTube, on the other hand, you can post a video on YouTube and it will remain unseen until the end of time. You have to actively promote your YouTube content if you want to get seen. I'm very lucky to have built up any kind of an audience on YouTube. I think in the past I've been kind of like, oh, my stuff, I'm only at 10,000 subscribers. That's massive, I think, compared to most people will not get to that number. I think the reason I've kind of like been judgmental of myself is because it's pretty far away from the number of 11K. I'm pretty far away from the number of like being able to make a living off of my channel, but at the same time, I'm so grateful that I can even get any attention on myself. The fact that I'm here and I have 12 people listening to everything I'm saying, even if you guys aren't actively participating in the chat, it's so cool that you guys are here and even giving me the time of day at all. But Albie says also that many YouTubers and animators you see nowadays started on Newgrounds. Absolutely true. Speedo, Jabrixon, Meat Canyons, Sir Palo. Yeah, I think YouTube kind of abandoned animators for a while, but Newgrounds has always been backing them up. And I think even though my content isn't traditional animation, I've gotten so much more love there than I have in so many other places. So yeah, go there, go do that. Post. There's a Discord link again, in case anybody missed it. Alakazam says, YouTube seems like such a grind, dude. The big channels got big 8 years ago, and the small channels have to innovate and constantly post and do everything they can just to get a lucky break. Yeah, I've kind of given up a little bit on getting big on YouTube, purely because I don't see... I feel like you have to almost get the green flag from someone who works at YouTube to get approved and get big. And I don't even know how they would go about doing that. Like, you'd almost need a friend at YouTube. I don't know if that's true. But I think it's a big deal because YouTube, more than any other app or social media, I feel like has been targeted by mainstream media as like a scary place and has intentionally tried to scare away advertisers from YouTube. And I think as a result of that, YouTube is very, very nervous about promoting anyone accidentally. I think they have a lot of people right now who are very popular on YouTube that they wish weren't as popular as they were because they're seen as synonymous with the YouTube name. I think YouTube almost has more in common with Netflix right now than it does with other social media sites, just because it does feel like a very small number of creators get pushed out in front of people, and then you have to hold on to that for dear life and hope you can make something out of it. I'm lucky to have gotten any traction on TikTok, but I think the traction I have gotten has made me realize that how much of a balancing act it is to simultaneously be bringing in a new audience while holding on to an old one, and also not driving yourself insane in the process. But the biggest thing is, I think, with my content is I like talking about weird stuff that doesn't have any real popular tags associated with it, which is why I think I've seen two people. One person said they found me through my Winnie the Pooh baseball video that I did a long time ago, and somebody else found me through One Piece. I think I have most of my audience has come from talking about stuff that isn't necessarily directly about the internet, even though that's what my whole channel is about. I kind of have to have these gateway videos that get people in and get them talking or get them interested in the same stuff that I am interested in. So it's hard. I think I'm gonna start doing more videos about fandoms specifically because I like fandoms and I like studying fandoms and seeing how they grow and combat with each other. Uh, One Piece is very popular right now just because there's a lot happening in the anime with the character getting a big superpower power boost thing that has everybody talking. It's been interesting seeing this like competition between Dragon Ball Z fans and One Piece fans over what's the greatest anime. And it's not even a conversation that needs to happen, but there's been like I'd say some small skirmishes across the internet and on several different websites I've seen. You'll see random conversations burst out between these two fandoms. So if we were talking about memes as if they were flora and fauna of the internet, I'd say fandoms are kind of like the clans of the internet or the people, the kingdoms of the internet, and they can span across multiple territories. But you'll find that there's similar cultures throughout, or like a lot of similar rules like that reappear and rituals and things like that. And I want to start portraying fandoms similarly to how I do loading screens for these websites. Uh, but also kind of want to do longer form content. But then when I do longer form content, that takes longer. I don't know. But Awkward says, hearing you talk about all this stuff is great inspiration for someone still trying to find their niche. Yeah, man. The advice. I think the thing is, it's really easy to look at a lot of people who have their own niche now, and be like, what's mine? I know I want to pick one, and I kind of picked one in the beginning of my career as a YouTuber, I guess. But it was super broad, man. I just want to tell stories about the internet, and fiction is like so not like somewhat of what I do. Like it's my thing I'm most passionate about, but it's not most of the content I'm making now. You just gotta experiment, and what'll most people you find who have niches now are people who stumbled into those, and you probably didn't see all the other videos they made that weren't about those things. And then you get to a certain level and you just talk about what the hell you want because people are interested. Yeah, Alakazam said they found me through the One Piece iFunny, and like I didn't post that to iFunny, so that kind of just spread on its own. And fortunately, you stumbled your way over here, man. Awkward says, seems to me as someone who does not use Newgrounds, that site is very much an of the people for the people kind of place. That is, I think, literally the the motto is everything by everyone. So you were very spot on there. Let's see. Experimenting is super scary. You're absolutely right, and I'm experimenting to this day, and it is still terrifying. Look up. I recommend this to everyone who feels like they're still getting started. Look up the. Actually, we can just watch this. I don't need to tell. Let's do a react video. We're gonna do Ira Glass, which you don't have to like his work. He's a radio guy for NPR, but this is excellent advice for people who are new, and I try to send this to as many people as I can because, like, if you can embody this lesson, everything gets a lot. If you can truly believe this, what he's about to say, and accept it, things get a lot easier for you. Nope, that's an ad. Ignore them. Don't go to Purdue. I don't support this. All right.
Nobody tells people who are beginners.
That's lagging.
And I really wish somebody had told this to me, is that all of us who do creative work, like, we get into it, and we get into it because we have good taste. But it's like there's a gap. That for the first couple of years that you're making stuff, what you're making isn't so good. Okay, it's not that great. It's trying to be good. It has ambition to be good, but it's not quite that good. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, your taste is still killer, and your taste is good enough that you can tell that what you're making is kind of a disappointment to you. You know what I mean? A lot of people never get past that phase. A lot of people at that point, they quit. And the thing I would just like say to you with all my heart is that most everybody I know who does interesting creative work, they went through a phase of years where they had really good taste. They could tell what they were making wasn't as good as they wanted it to be. They knew it felt short. It didn't have this special thing that we wanted it to have.
Night, Alakazam.
The thing I would say to you is everybody goes through that. And for you to go through it, if you're going through it right now, if you're just getting out of that phase, you got to know it's totally normal. And the most important possible thing you could do is do a lot of work. Do a huge volume of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every week or every month you know you're going to finish one story. Because it's only by actually going through a volume of work that you're actually going to catch up and close that gap. And the work you're making will be as good as your ambitions. In my case, like I took longer to figure out
This audio's bad.
how to do this than anybody I've ever met. It takes a while. It's going to take you a while. It's normal to take a while, and you just have to fight your way through that. Okay?
Boom. Good stuff. That is like what I love about the device is it fits like anything creative, anything that takes any kind of like actual creative work. Like if you consider yourself to have good taste, like it can be absolutely brutal to not know what you want to do or how to make something good, because you know better than most people how not good your work is. But I think a weird thing happens where you will have periods where you're like, I'm getting good at this, and you'll kind of feel good, and then maybe that goes away because you'll start to recognize all the problems and stuff. But the main thing is you, like you said, you just keep making stuff and you'll figure it out. Let's see. Oh no, there's no audio in this. All right, I'm sorry if I just wasted y'all's time with that, but let's see. Okay. Oh, Awesomeness Taylor. Hey, man. I'm a massive fan. I love your blending of animation and spectacular storytelling to create unique content. More people need to hear about you. I appreciate that, man. I think there's a lot of people on the internet, and I understand that not enough people have heard about my amazing content. So I understand. But I appreciate you saying all that. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, I'm sorry, T.I.'s Phoenix. The main thing that video is about is just how if you're cursed with good taste, you can tend to be a lot more critical of your own work than someone who would actually appreciate it. But it can be a very painful process making stuff if you don't actually, like what you're making. And the only way you can really get good is by making a lot of stuff, even if you don't like it. But for me at least, it was a huge relief to know, oh, I'm not alone in this. Like, the feelings I'm experiencing are apparently something that a lot of artists have experienced. Even if it was like a long time ago for some of them. But yeah, I don't know, man. I want to do more to open up my end of the creative spectrum for you guys, so that if I'm not showing you guys, if I don't have content or videos to post and share with you all, I want to be able to, I want to show you guys what I'm working on. And also, I want to work on stuff with you guys, which is to say that, like, instead of just, type in MS Paint stuff here. Okay, those are gone. Want to work more with you guys. Done. I think it's easy to get caught up in my stuff, and I enjoy working on stuff and getting in the zone and working on one character for 3 weeks that I end up using for 4 minutes. And I think it would be good to just start touch base with you guys more and talking to you guys more about what I'm doing. Let's see. And then, I don't know, how do you guys feel about, actually watching streams? I think it'd be fun if I could start, working on characters on stream, and then that way we can talk while, instead of having to worry about me not making polished enough content, I can just polish the content here with you guys. And I can make it all very good. And you guys can see what I'm working on and appreciate how much work I'm putting into this stuff for you guys. And then maybe YouTube will forgive me for only posting once a month. And if I start streaming more often, I don't know. Awesome Taylor says the better you get at creating, the better your understanding of what makes your creation good. The opposite is true, where you start to see the flaws in others and your own work more keenly. I would agree with that. I think that's why I think I mentioned this when I was talking about Newgrounds. You need to get good at appreciating work that isn't good, if that makes sense. It kind of so like a lot of people enjoy so good they're bad movies, but not many people I think take the time to appreciate how hard it is to make movies and how easy it is to make a bad movie. And I think it's very easy and fun to laugh at something that's bad. And you're not wrong for enjoying something that's bad or laughing at it. But I would say that I think if you can appreciate the struggle a little bit while you're learning about, if you can laugh at something for being bad while simultaneously understanding why it's bad and where they messed up, you're going to be a much better creator for that. And also, you'll probably be a little bit more lenient on yourself when it comes to when you make mistakes. And if you can find like joy in other people's bad work, like, because sometimes you'll find something that's like 90% bad, but they have a good idea pop up. And if you can get good at appreciating that one little thing they did right and being like, wow, that's actually useful and I appreciate that despite all the other crap, it's gonna get a lot easier for you to make stuff that is good, because you'll be able to start zeroing in on the small things that you're doing right instead of fixating on the stuff that you're doing wrong. Because if you can, it's important to recognize where you're flawed, but sometimes there's not much you can do about it except just hope you get better over time as you work on it. Because even if you put a lot of effort into getting good at something, doesn't mean you're gonna figure it out right away. And then at that point, you're like, okay, I can sit on this thing that I made that's kind of bad, or I can post it and start working on something else. And it's the people who make a lot of content quickly and recognize what's working and what's not that are the ones that do well, I think. That's why I haven't really tried to do anything that's going to take me more than a couple months after my first couple of videos. This Miss Mustard video that I made recently took me months to make, but I think if you totaled all that time up, it was less than a month of actual work on it. Because this stuff can get time consuming, man. I could choose to spend hours obsessing over 1 second, and you're gonna burn out when you do that. If you're not, if you don't have the right motivation. Pixar movies, those are nothing but people obsessing over seconds, but they're also getting paid, and they're hiring a ton of people to do that stuff. T-Ice Phoenix, the one I made turn up his volume. I'm sorry for that. I should take it into account. I recently started getting into Blender and enjoy it, but I've dropped, scraped, redid my first attempt on a character and completely burnt out myself making it good. Man, and you don't gotta, and here's the thing. You might be beating up on yourself a little bit for doing that, but that's totally reasonable, and I think a good lesson to learn from that is like fail faster and like what was it I saw today? I saw something that's good. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough, or you're not really trying. There's gonna be painful moments. I think I've talked to a few people on the Discord server who spent a long time working on character topology, and I was like, oh yeah, man, that's a nightmare. I remember I've worked a lot on that, and I was trying to help this person, and I thought I was still pretty bad at it, but working with someone who was actually brand new at it, I realized like, oh, I've actually been growing this whole time. I didn't even realize it. And you got to take some time to appreciate how far you've come. And I think what I would do is like, if you still got that first character, man, hold on to it. Don't look at it for a while, but check it out in like a year time if you keep working on it. And I guarantee you'd be like, I've learned a lot since then. And it might not be as much as you want it to be, but in little steps, you will figure it out. You'll get better at this, and it's going to feel really good. Then that's the problem. I think I actually heard someone say this the other day. I think I'm actually in a period where I'm feeling very confident and good, but I might be apparently not be feeling that way soon, just because apparently the way it works is you get good and catch up to your own taste, and then just around the time and you're like, yeah, I'm getting good at this, is when you'll start to notice some other problems, because your taste will expand. You'll get better, and you'll start, because like the increase in skills will make you better at catching mistakes and little flaws or little things that you could be doing better. And then you'll start to hate your work again. But then guess what? That means you're also about to start getting better again. And then I think that's just what happens in little small increments. You recognize you're bad, then you get good, then you recognize you can be better, then you get better, and that's just how it goes. Albie says, thanks for the shout out, man. No thanks necessary. Thanks for all the music. Yeah, no, Albie's a great example of this. Albie is a guy who just will jump in and into a brand new genre just to figure out how it works, and I love that. And like, man, so when you said that you made a song in a week and you're really proud of it, that made me really happy, because I'm trying, like, week has been like my cycle. That's what I've been trying to see if I can write a story, created a couple assets for it, animate it, and publish it in a week. Like, that's been my goal. And dude, if I could start like passing it on to you and then you finish it in a week, like just a quick, like, use my stuff for practice, man. Get something messy out there. You don't even have to associate your name with it. If it's like halfway, if it's not like hurting my ears, I count it as a win, because anything I would be making would be hurting my ears. Like, I'm setting the bar very low for you. T Ice Phoenix says, I was doing it on the old school computers. It kept crashing and lost progress a lot. They wipe the drives at the end of every year, and I graduate already. It's tragic. I have a few projects like that as well. I remember I was learning in school on Maya, and I created this really complex cityscape, and I kept on like building things, and I was crashing computers too. That's why it reminds me of this. It was, wait, hold on, I'm still on. There we go. So I would be like, all right, I'm gonna make building. Here's the building, and I'll do some complicated kind of stuff on it. And I'd be like, all right, and then these need to be beveled, and let's see. So like, I'd be like, okay, and this is the, and like while I'm making it, I'm thinking of this whole plot line. Like, this is a sci-fi center. It's a hospital, and there's all these patients. So I need to have, these are the 4 main floors, and I would come up with this whole story, and I'd be like, these floors are essential, and I need to have these. And then I'd figure out some new mechanic that'd be like, oh, there's 14 units of these buildings, and they go here, right? And then, oh, but this is also a city block, so there's these are all the hospitals, right? These are all the hospitals in the area. So I'd be like, there needs to be at least, let's see. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so this is one block of this city. And then I'd be like, but it needs more. This is the other block of the city. Okay. Yeah, I'd be like, okay, so this is where this is the hospital. This is the police station. And I kept on growing this thing and making it more and more massive and more complicated. And like what I've eventually learned with 3D modeling, like this thing got so big, it would be like I kept on, so then I'd be like, oh, but it needs to be bigger. So these are all on, a ground plane like this. And then I would like duplicate this. Or I'd find out how like stuff glowed. And I'd be like, oh, okay, so this is like, they're based on an energy field. They're powered by this. And then I figure it out, like I'd be like, oh wait, these aren't just buildings on the ground. No, these are skyscrapers. They go all the way up. And I'd basically keep like building the world like this, and I'd just keep doubling and tripling things over and over again. And then eventually it would like, the whole computer would just start like slowing down. And I wasn't working iteratively, which means like breaking things down into chunks. So I would work on the super, super fine level of like put a whole bunch of work into one building. You go all the way back down to the very first building here. Here it is. And I would put so many dang polys into this thing. I want it to look perfect. And like at some point the computer would just be like, kill me, and like just slagging, and I'd be like, no, it's not perfect yet. I need to make more. I need more. I'm not gonna increase the samples because if I actually start slowing the computer down, you guys won't be able to hear me anymore. But it is like I completely know where you're coming from. I think the powers of 3D animation and modeling can be overwhelming. You are like a god, and it can quickly, you know, your computer's not though. So, let me read some of these comments. Abby says definitely use your videos, overall art style, and experiment with stuff. I love it. Let me know, man. If you want to like upload my videos onto your channel too, that's fine. I don't even care. Awkward says you're itching something in my brain because I just opened my crappy audio mixer and started looking over a project from like 3 months ago. Good. Make some shit, my man. Do it. T.I. Phoenix says I probably should mention it was an elven pirate queen for a lady. And it was my first time ever thing I put time into on Blender. Dude, I think mine very first thing was a guy with a trench coat and a robot arm. And I put so much work into him, and I was like, he's hideous. But there were parts where I was like, he looks good. I was like happy. Tabby, thank you for enjoying this. I'm glad you're liking it. I feel that lag. Yeah. No, you get to work around it. So like everyone was saying like, oh, this guy looks good. I was experimenting with kind of like an asymmetrical like look with him. I kind of wanted to make him look somewhat like a crack into that like N64, you know, low poly vibe, but keep him functioning regularly. I started pushing. This guy's he started getting a little too like he doesn't look high poly, but he's kind of high poly. He's not bad, but not as good as some of my other characters. Let me see if I can pull up. I don't even know what these are. What is this? Oh, that's for a comic I was working on. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yep, never mind. That's not there. No, let's see. Let's see. Okay, so I have a whole folder of characters here. These are all characters that I have worked on over the years, and someday I want to be, oh, like this one. I wanted to do a video on MatPat from Game Theory at one point. Never got around to it. But put a lot of work into him. I think he's not too bad in terms of his polys and stuff like that. I was originally wanting to, because I don't think people realize this, but like for a while YouTube was teaching people how to get better at making content, and they asked MatPat to train people, or at least make some promotional videos about it. And I think for a while, everyone was talking like MatPat from Game Theory. It was horrible. Or at least I didn't like Game Theory very much, so it was horrible for me. But he's interesting guy. I can't remember. I think I had a whole script written up for it, and then I think I didn't ultimately have much to say that was too important, except for the fact that like I didn't. Oh man, I think I had an interesting hook for him, but I can't remember what it is now. He's an interesting guy just because he's like one of those older YouTubers who was very popular for a while and is now basically able to kind of coast off of that like insane popularity he had. I don't even know what he's doing now, but he could probably like open his own video game company if he wanted to. That'd be interesting. But that's just a theory. Yeah. But yeah, I want to start doing more of this stuff in front of you guys. I've got a couple characters. These are all old files, by the way. I think most of the stuff. Oh, see. Okay, so I was talking about the Minecraft streamer thing. This is another one of the characters I was working on for that. Oh, no, it's not. This is actually an abandoned experiment. Or is it? Nope, it is. Wow, these are old. So I'm operating off of an old flash drive right now that doesn't have all the stuff I'm currently working on it. But hey, there she is. So this is a moderator, or at least the previous version of a moderator that I'm using for this new stream coming out. I like her design. It's a little plain. I think I'm going to come back and revisit it. Also, this is using a model starter thing that was an attempt to get better at faster. I basically started with this mannequin. Well, it's not there anymore. But I started with this mannequin that I adjusted and changed. Oh wait, maybe it is there. Let's get rid of all these things. So basically I build the character base-wise first. And then I put stuff on top of them to make them look more defined and unique. And this starting model is like pretty fleshed out. Like topology is an important thing when it comes to animation. So the way you put lines, these little polygons here, make it very important for how stuff gets moved around in the animation portion. And this can be very time consuming. So I usually start with a base character, and then I build stuff on top of that base character, like a very generic looking character, like this one. And then I'll make that invisible. And then I add some clothes, some accessories, and hair, and a hat, apparently. And the reason I do all that is because then when you get down to animating the character, it's a lot easier. Actually, I don't know where the controls are, so maybe it won't be. It's the trash. I don't know where her rig is, so I can't even move her right now to show you. But it's a complicated process that you can over time get better at, like I've done. And I've been opting more for speed and efficiency than I have been for actual looks. I think I've gotten a lot better even since this, and I think I built this like a year ago. Her face is Grease Pencil, which is Blender's animation program, or 2D animation program. I don't know. Anyway, this is exciting at all to you guys. I'm excited by it. Awkward Size says, not only do I think a video on MatPat would be excellent, I think he would love the idea too. I don't know what angle, so I usually try to take a unique angle on people, because I need to be interested in the video to want to work on it. That's probably why I ditched working on it, because I lost interest in it. But I'm sure I got stuff to say about MatPat. I just have to look at my notes. Bobby says her design reminds me of Laura Croft or Reagan from Inside Job. She is carrying some Reagan from Inside Job. I think I came up with her before Reagan came out, though. I could be wrong. But her vibe is absolutely, that is like the same vibe I'm going for. No nonsense, ass kicking, maybe a little bit socially awkward to the degree that they're somewhat lonely. So yeah, Reagan is absolutely what I was going for. Hey, disheartened boy. For is your name really Jack Crumb? I don't tell anybody any of my names. You can decide which name is more real or less real. I was going by Jack Crumb in the very beginning. I'll say, because I think I even have a video where I say I just liked that name, just how plain it was. It's kind of the opposite of what most people do online. They come up with something pretty cool, like Disheartened Boy. But Jack Crumb is not my real name. but I go by 404 now, just because I think a lot of people assume Jack Crumb was my real name. Yeah, it sounds like a fantasy character. Yeah, I think actually there is a fantasy character named Jack Crumb. Yeah, you could call me Big Jimmy. But yeah, it's not really. I think it was like a. I think I literally just tried picking a very boring sounding name. And then I think I actually met a few people with Crumb as a last name. And I was like, oh, people are going to think this is actually. I didn't think Crumb was a last name. I just picked it because it's like, I don't know, insignificant kind of sounding. And I feel bad because apparently Crumb is like a surname that people have. Let's see. Oh, what if I open up? This might be fun. Yeah, so this character is going to be pretty relevant. I'm going to do a whole fight scene between her and Gotta Play. Let's see if I have a more updated version of Gotta Play. Probably the same one. Yeah, like I've changed a lot since then, even with this stuff. One of the most fascinating people on the internet, in my opinion, is Jay Schlatt. I also feel like so much has already been said. Is Jay Schlatt? So I don't actually know much about Jay Schlatt. They are, I think I know they're a streamer. I believe they were a Minecraft streamer. Weren't they associated with Dream and all that? No, wait. I'm associating with Dream because they have that one video where they ban a bunch of people who are Dream stands. Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Awkward Sci. But yeah, Dream and that whole Minecraft crew were a big inspiration for this video that I've been working on and off. I might pick up again now because I think I've finally got the plot worked out. I have a problem with doing fictional stuff though. I think there's a lot of misinformation online, and I think fiction's weird on the internet where people tend to dismiss it outright. Unless I think people just like a lot more true stories nowadays, which is, you know, reasonable. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening in the world. Yeah, this is Gotta Play. Really is, I think. But I'm just not. I don't know. I like nonfiction stuff, but I like fiction stuff so much more. It can be so much. You can do so much more with it than I don't know. Like I get across the exact ideas that I want to get across, but it's hard. Where are? What did you guys do? Where did they go? Anyway. Jay Schlatt used a bot that deleted anyone who had a username that had anything with Dreams SMP. That's what I thought. That's what I know him from. I would like to know the Purge stream. That was hilarious. I think probably a few people already animated that, but that was like I wanted to animate that in a kind of in my metaphorical internet world. Your models are sick. I've wanted to learn 3D rigs, but I'm more of a 2D animator currently. You're done hand-drawn animations. So I actually am super ADHD and I like doodling, but I have this weird thing where I have trouble holding an image in my head for a long enough time to draw it. I keep trying to change a drawing as I'm drawing it. That's where 3D's worked well for me because it stays where it's at and it can't change too much. They put in a lot of work to do a lot of changes. I had done 2D animations. Let me pull up this most recent video because this character has a 2D face that I am drawing on. 404 has a rig where I'm swapping between images that I've made, and I can kind of flip between different emotions. But for this character, Miss Mustard here, which will be, if you guys weren't here for the beginning of the stream, I'll be uploading this afterwards. I drew each of these faces, and it allowed me to have a lot more expression, but it also took a lot longer to animate than it normally does. But I also had a lot of fun doing it, and I think I'm getting better at it, so I might try doing this more often. We'll see. I'm gonna go back to Schlatt because I'm curious. He seems like a fun guy. I don't know what makes him the most interesting or fascinating on the internet. I'm curious to hear that. ADHD gang. I visualize better on the 3D plane versus 2D plane. I agree with that as well. I like to get better at animating and modeling so I can visualization of action economies in various D&D-esque systems. That'd be pretty cool. I think I know what you're talking about. I know friends who know what you're talking about, and I've talked to them. Yeah, I play a little bit of D&D here and there. I'm excited about Baldur's Gate 3. I'm gonna wait for it to come out on PS5 so I can justify having a game on my PS5. There's a video on the Right Opinion about how the internet attempted to cancel him many times and failed. I'll check that out. I like Right Opinion, Awkward Sigh. He is pretty great. I wish I could make videos that long because I feel like I could talk about some subjects that long. But I also like animating too much to not animate, if that makes sense. I want to get better at animating stuff more quickly and probably not as detailed so that I can talk about stuff for longer. But maybe I can just get all that energy out here in these streams. We've been going for about 3 hours now, so there's that. ADHD D&D game. Let's see. Yeah, no, Right Opinion is fantastic. If you guys haven't seen their content, they have these insanely long video essays on certain creators that have had a lot of controversy surrounding them, usually a lot of drama. I think of the Right Opinion as a drama channel, weirdly enough, because if you watch it, it's like almost anti-drama, and that he covers his subjects so well that you don't ever get the feeling that he's like invested in the drama aspect. It almost feels like more like a detective or a lawyer covering a lot of evidence to come up with a verdict on what the actual situation was. And what's really fun is we just have no idea any of this was happening. It feels like a good way to get informed on some drama in some corners of the internet. Man, ever since Gamergate, I don't consider any drama to be too little to not pay attention to, if only because it's weird how a lot of that stuff will echo throughout certain corners of the internet for a long time. A lot of people will carry grudges with them for a long time, and it'll have huge impacts on the internet later on. So Right Opinion's been good for covering certain things that I completely missed or didn't hear about. I didn't know when he did one for Schlatt. I'll definitely check it out. Action Economy and D&D. Man, if y'all want to talk about Action Economy in the chat, that's awesome. I have nothing to contribute, if only because I'm one of those D&D players who I'm like, I know I've been playing this for months now, but I need you to explain that rule to me again. I don't have room in my head for that stuff. I think it's cool though, and I bet you guys are having fun with Baldur's Gate, because I'm excited about the idea of a game having all the rules ready for me that I don't have to learn anything. But I don't know. These have been fun. I think I'm going to come in next time with a clearer objective over what we should discuss and maybe hit on certain topics. I think it'd be fun next time. I think I'm probably wrapping up the stream here in 6 or so minutes to have a nice 3-hour roundabout. And I think what I can do next time is we can talk about memes. I want to talk about fandoms, specific areas the fandoms are doing things. And I actually have these like 5 rules of how to look at the internet and like metaphors that kind of reflect and change everything I'm doing on the internet. And I think that'd be fun to go over with you guys, because I think I want more people on the internet looking at the internet this way, because I think it's important, and I think it's going to change things for the better, hopefully. I don't know. I want people to be a little bit more scared, a little bit more sympathetic, and a little bit more aware of how the internet works. And that's kind of been the overall goal with this channel over the several years I've been doing this now, is to try and help people appreciate these things without having to actually live them themselves. And that's been hard, but it's had, I think, like we were talking about progress as an artist, and I think that's ultimately become a much more fun goal for me, is just like, how good can I get at this? And that's been a good goal for me. So I think that we could, next time I'll come prepared with a little bit of a lesson plan, or at least, and here's the thing, I don't think I'm the expert necessarily here. I have no doubt in my mind, I spent enough time on the internet to know a lot of the people in this chat know more than I do about certain corners of the internet, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on some of these grand theories I have of the internet. I'm sorry, reading chat. Whenever you guys hear me just go quiet, it's because I'm reading what you guys are saying. Upgrade your head storage. Yeah. I would love to do that. Get me on that cyberpunk train, baby. I love teaching people, albeit there's way more way. It's genius. It is. Maybe by the time you stream again, I'll finally made some crap. I would love to check out your guys' stuff. I think I'm realizing that I need to get over my not wanting to watch other people's, like, I've got kind of a bias towards Let's Players and React content. I think I'm getting over that finally. I've started watching some people react to some stuff, and it can be enjoyable if done correctly. So if you guys want to make some stuff, I would absolutely love to check it out if you are okay with me checking it out on stream. So feel free to get some stuff ready. I will try and start streaming more regularly. This wasn't too hard this time. I came in with no plan whatsoever, and I think it's gone pretty good. The fact that 10 people showed up when I decided to do this yesterday is pretty incredible to me. I appreciate y'all being here. Disheartened Boy claims to be an expert on cursed cat memes. I liked cat memes. I think cat memes are one of the oldest creatures on the internet. I'm not super familiar with cursed cat memes, or any in particular. I think I know some of what you're talking about, but yeah, have some of those ready. I'm gonna be looking for stuff to talk about next time. As much as I have stuff to talk about, I'd love to hear what you guys want to talk about also. But yeah, be ready with some memes. Be ready with fandoms that you guys are active in. I'd love to talk about those. I'm going to try and come in with a curriculum of some sorts, because I'd like to get us all on the same page. It'd be cool if this could become simultaneously a behind-the-scenes, craft channel where you get to see me like actively working on new projects. I think that'd be fun. And then at the same time, while we're doing that, it'd be cool if we could all be keeping tabs on the internet together and seeing what stuff is growing and changing, and I can give you guys my opinions on it, and you can give me your opinions on it. And we can all get smarter and wiser together and make the world a better place for all of us. That's pretty much it, though. Mr. Egg said, The Selfish Gene is a book about the origin of memes. That's right. Okay, that sounded familiar to me. That's the evolution guy, right? Dawkins? Yeah, no, I think memes, I've kind of changed my meme definition to include what that original meme definition is, because I think it still works with how we look at memes. It's interesting. Memes, I'll talk a lot about memes, dude. It's not something that I consider myself the expert on, but I think I have like a weird perspective on it that I think other people could benefit from adopting. So I'd love to talk about it. Whoa. T Ice Phoenix says, well, I'll warn you, my content is unfiltered Discord chats that I animated into Phoenix Wright courtroom cases. And I'd say they listed a rated R PG-13 tagline. That sounds interesting. There's the bot on Twitter that I loved for a while that would turn Twitter conversations into Phoenix Wright cases. And I think Elon killed it by charging people for certain Twitter API information. So you may be a artist of the last form. It might be done manually now. Record sizes. I'll make a spreadsheet. Yes, T.I. Phoenix, Metal Gear Rising did cover it quite well. I made a video recently that kind of also went into... Actually, we can just watch that, because I was trying to describe to you guys how I feel about memes, and I actually made a video about how I feel about memes. There it is. Hopefully the audio's not messed up on this one. Hopefully it loads, period. Maybe it won't. I'll just keep talking until it does, and I'll just interrupt myself. Emily's here. Oh, Emily, you didn't have to come in at 5 a.m. I am so... I just cropped in for a moment before going to bed. Emily, I appreciate it so much. Appreciate it. A friend of the Discord. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it so much. Elon's life is a tragedy to him, but a comedy to everyone else. Rough. I'll post the Discord again, y'all. That's because our Discord's pretty cool, and if y'all haven't joined it yet, that'd be fun to see you guys get in there. Yeah, Awkward Sigh. I will change the world. That is the goal through memes. Through the memes. TikTok does not work well on desktop, apparently. Who'd have believed it? Emily has really cute art. I followed her on Twitter, and then she followed me. Wow, nothing's working right now. Can y'all even hear me right now? It says I have an excellent connection, so I'll trust that over the fact that I can't. Nothing is loading currently, but I'm just gonna look up 404 memes and see what comes up. All right, cool. As long as y'all can hear me. The internet's not working. That's the internet's problem. Yeah, that's awkward. Why is it showing me that? There it is. Lovely. See, I can just make you guys watch my content again.
To improve your writing
Oh,
game
Lord.
with Grammarly Go.
Shut up, Grammarly.
Go is
Ah!
a service.
Ooh. I don't have ad blocker on this browser, apparently, so we're going to learn about Grammarly a little bit. That was rough. My videos are only a minute long. Why are they showing these whole commercials? No, stop talking yet.
Inside of you. And I'm not just talking funny, haha kind of meme. I'm talking Darwin, baby. I'm
Woo!
talking cultural evolution,
That ain't working.
baby. The terms we use for funny.
That's not
internet
working. Let's not do this anymore. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to close some of these tabs. Maybe that'll help. Also, I have my VTuber thing still up somehow. Close you. That was rough. I don't like hearing my voice most of the time, but even worse when it's glitching out like that. Give me a moment. Closing some tabs. See if this helps.
It right now, but there's a meme inside of you. And I'm not just talking funny, haha kind of meme.
No,
I'm
doesn't
talking Darwin,
baby.
I'm talking cultural evolution.
Oof. If I just mute it. 'Cause there are subtitles. I put a lot of work into these subtitles doing them this way. You guys can just appreciate that. But yeah, the terms we use for funny internet jokes originally referred to self-propagating culture that could be transmitted from person to person. But now it's how we refer to funny JPEGs because the internet made it very easy to track these ideas, to watch them reproduce and spread throughout the online ecosystem. But what if I told you the funny-looking ones are just a small fry? Or memes so big that you can't even fully comprehend them. Ideas that are so much a part of us and our society that they might even be older than society. Justice, trade, sexuality. These are memes so enormous that if you have 10 people describe them, you get 10 different answers, depending on where they're standing. The internet's made it easier to see what a massive footprint these things can leave, but even then, they never stop growing, reproducing, evolving, in a way they're as live as we are. Boom. Oh. That wasn't it. It was still lagging. Apparently, Mr. Egg learned about the selfish gene from how Trump became president via memes. I hope you guys enjoyed me re-recording all that audio. And I'm going to share something with you that might be a little bit controversial. This is AI art. I wanted a scary, gibberish image that you couldn't really tell what it was, but it was a pattern, kind of like an iris. And I said a circular pattern with sexuality or something like that. And it generated exactly what I wanted because I wanted gibberish. How do you guys feel about the fact that I used AI art here, though? I'm curious. I think in the future I would like to keep doing stuff like this. Like I think AI art is actually good at some things, but I understand how some people. I think I see a lot of people who are anti AI art in any context, in any capacity whatsoever. And I'm just curious how you guys feel about me using it here. Awkward Side says they think of the memes as fungus. Yeah, so that's why I like flora or fauna, because I think it is like you can kind of like taste the memes when you get into a new place and be like getting a little bit of a boomer, a little bit of coomer in here also. Yeah, they've been here though. I'd love to see you using the tools available to you. It's great in time and money and budget. If you want quality, it's best to commission it. Seriously, besides the point, apologies, but do you usually enable YouTube's ambient filter? I don't actually know what that is. Is that a feature on here? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people are okay with AI art if you're not using it to replace an artist. But I think in this case, I could have probably tried to find an artist who could do stuff like this. But I think the issue is when it's animation. And I knew it was only going to be on screen for moments, right? It felt like a waste to use, like, I don't know. I would have loved to commission an artist. So there's a perfect way. I think I said I was going to wrap up the stream 7 minutes ago, but here we are. Ice Phoenix says a little bit of Ugandan knuckles with some deep fry and a bit crunch and Markiplier. Yeah, I don't. That image is ambiguous enough not to hurt anyone. Okay, I'm glad you guys feel that way. There's an interesting debate going on right now I've seen where some people were. This is my YouTube. Don't look at it. These are the videos I listen to music to. Check out Little Tommy J. I like their stuff. But what I was gonna say was the Journey. Yeah, I like Journey. I do like Journey. That guy was doing a remix of it. It's pretty nice. There's not gonna be any captions on this video, guys, but you guys can appreciate my older art. Yeah, no, there's an interesting debate going online right now because a guy made a Scooby-Doo Five Nights at Freddy's parody, and enjoy that classic 404 character model. But the guy made a Five Nights at Freddy's Scooby-Doo parody, and he used AI voices for the voice artists to recreate the Scooby-Doo characters. And everyone jumped on him immediately because he's like, those are actual voice actors, and they're still alive to this day. And everyone was like, you should have hired them. And the guy's like, this is like literally my first animation I did in Blender. I didn't think it would get even 100 views. Yet here we are, like, having this conversation. Like, did you expect me to hire the voiceover artist for my little fan animation? And everyone else was saying, like, you could have hired other voice actors and all this other stuff. But it's like, I think more and more, it sucks. But we're going to find that there's a lot more people who are okay with using AI. I don't know. I don't think it's going away. I don't think we're going to be able to control it. I heard somebody compare it to digital pirating, like when Napster was invented, and how they shut down Napster entirely, blew it up. They didn't stop pirating. It completely changed how music was delivered. Pirating still happens to this day. So it's more about like, okay, what do we do? I think artists are going to have to adapt more than anything else. I don't know if there's going to be much we can do about stopping AI. So I think I just want to use it in ways that are okay and minimal and hopefully not too distracting. I don't know. I think there's going to always be some artists who are really upset about even touching AI, but because I don't know if somebody else's art was used in that stuff. Yeah, Emily, I agree. I think my problem is also with corporations. I'm not sure how these are going to be. I think my biggest fear right now is a company like Disney having you sign a waiver saying all of your art can and will be used in an AI generator. I don't think they'll be able to replace artists with it, but just the idea of not getting paid any extra, but still being able to feed your stuff into a machine to then continue using long after you're gone, that rubs me the wrong way. No, I don't, and yeah, Disheartened Boy, I don't feel like AI is gonna truly replace stuff. I think it's gonna make. I think it's gonna be similar to how Photoshop changed everything, where it take a lot of the work out of it, but not really stopped or replaced any artists. Not really. I don't know. We could talk about AI art for 3 more hours, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here, guys. I love Tabby. Thank you. The fire. I am very happy with the fire. I spent so long on this because I was trying to. Yeah, I so I appreciate somebody noticing the fire so much. I was planning on originally using this fire to. It's gonna probably spam me with another ad. Hold on. No. Okay. Yeah, I spent hours on this fire because I originally thought I'd be using this set for like a lot of other stories, and then I got tired of using it pretty quickly, so that didn't work out. But yeah, I will go ahead and end the stream here. I might edit this down and try to use it for some stuff, or I might just upload it in its entirety for other people to enjoy at some point. But I'm really glad you guys are all here. I really appreciate you guys coming in and saying hi. And I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening and stay safe out there, Netscape Navigators.